What's up? It's your boy Denot. Listen, there's been a lot of misinformation spewed around this Lil Durk trial. People are attacking Trap Lil Royce, saying that he's lying, and while other people are saying that he has the best information. Guess what? I have the best information, which is the black and white transcripts. Pay attention to this video. I'm going to read these transcripts thoroughly without stopping. So my mouth is dry because I'm recording this video after I've already read these transcripts. Please like this video, share it, share it, share it. If you play this video as a content creator, please hit your boy Cash App up, $sign to not 007, and give proper credit where it is due. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised.
What is in your life's blueprint?
Direct examination of OTF Jam by Mr. Morse. Good afternoon, Mr. Hester. What's up? Sir, you are currently detained in federal custody. Yes, sir. Is that because you have pleaded guilty to federal crimes? Yes, sir. What charges did you plead guilty to? Conspiracy to commit unalivement for hire, conspiracy to commit kidnap resulting in unalivement, and robbery, unalivement, and carrying a firearm and firing a firearm. Do one of these unalivements relate to the unalivement of Lil Pab? Yes, Mr. Morris. Published Exhibit 13, page 73. I'm showing you Exhibit 13, page 73. Sir, do you recognize what I'm showing you? Yes. Who is that? That is me with a blah blah in my hand. How do you know it's you? Because my shoes that I have on, I have some red and white Pradas on. We'll get into the details of that unalignment in a moment. But right now, as you look around the courtroom, do you see any other people who participated in the unalignment and or the planning of Mr. Robinson's unalignment? Yes. Can you tell me who they are? Durk, Mr. Banks? Yeah. Do you see anyone else? Didi. Is that DeAndre Wilson? Yes. Okay, do you see anyone else? Yeah, I don't know his name. I just know him as the Cleb Shorty. Okay, so you see another person who you committed this unalivement with here in this court. Yes. Can you tell us where he's sitting and just describe something that he's wearing so we know who you're talking about? He's got a black suit on, gray tie glasses. We'll object and stipulate to his identification in court, Judge. All right, based on the stipulation, the record will reflect that Mr. Lindsay has been identified. Go ahead, counsel. We'll get into the details of the unalignment a little bit later, but I want to talk to you a little bit about, well, first of all, in that unalignment of Mr. Lil Pab, you were targeting Mr. Robinson, or were you targeting someone else? No, Quando Rondo. Why were you targeting Quando Rondo in particularly? For revenge of unaliving King Von. All right, I want to talk to you a bit about your background. Where are you from, sir? I'm from Chicago, South Side, Inglewood. Have you lived on the South Side of Chicago your entire life? Yes, sir. How old are you? 34. In your life, have you been involved with the criminal street gang on the South Side of Chicago known as the Black Disciples? Yes, sir. And I want to ask you a couple of questions about your involvement in that gang. With respect to the Black Disciples in general, though, on the South Side of Chicago, are there blocks or cliques within the Black Disciple umbrella? Yes. Were you in one of those blocks or cliques? Yes, I was. Which one? Lamron 300. And how old were you when you got into the gang? I've been around them my whole life, but I got blessed in when I was 9. You said you got blessed in. Yeah, it's like the initiation into getting into the gang. Yeah. Why is it? Do you know why the block that you were involved with inside of the Black Disciples was called Lamron? Because we are off Normal, and we are off 64th and Normal, and you spell it backwards. We say it ain't normal, so we call it Lamron. So the gang originated in the intersections of 64th and Normal, and Lamron is normal backwards. Objection to repeating the testimony. Mr. Morris, just trying to clarify, Your Honor. Yeah, overruled. Yes. Okay, you wanted to talk. I want to talk to you about some of the structure of the gang. Did you eventually become a leader within the Black Disciples? Yes. What position did you obtain within that gang? A minister. What kind of authority does a minister have? A lot. Can a minister issue directives to younger members? Yes. To commit acts of violence, for example? Yes. How does someone rise to a level of leadership? Multiple ways. Could you give us some examples? It could be how you see people rise through your ranks through money, inherited, like somebody in your family held power within the mob, violence, ways like that. And why did you rise to a level of leadership in the Black Disciples? Violence. And when you were an active member in Lamron, by the way, is Lamron also referred to as Lamron 300? Yes. Can you just briefly explain why it's referenced to as 300? Because like the movie 300, the Spartans, how they never back down to nobody. That is us. Is it fair to say that Lamron can be referred to as Lamron 300, or just 300? Yeah. When you were an active member of Lamron 300, did you participate in meetings with other black disciples? Yes. And just so we are clear on why that is relevant, did another individual that you committed this unalignment with also participate in some of those meetings and you saw them there? Yes. Who? Durk, little D. Mr. Wilson and Mr. Banks? Yes. Okay. So I just want to talk so we get an understanding of what are those meetings about? Are they regular? How do those things go on? First, it was regular meetings every Friday. But if it's an emergency or something going on, we can be called at any time. Is that a member of, are the participants of that meeting just Lamron 300 block clique, or is it more broadly black disciples on the south side of Chicago? It depends on the situation. It could be multiple different cliques of black disciples. What types of things are dealt with at those meetings? It could be violations. It could be black disciples, different cliques getting into it. It could be, let me stop you really quickly. There's some slang that we've got to educate the jury on, okay? So you just said black disciple cliques that you get into it. Did you say that? Yes. Can you explain what the term means to get into it or to be into it? Like how to act beefing with each other? Okay, please continue. Yeah, it could be unalignments can be discussed. Black disciples get into oppositions can be discussed, things like that. Can folks get blessed in at those meetings? Also, yes. Do you have to bless in order to be a member? Yes. Is there some kind of oath that is taken when you're blessed in? Yes, it is. Can you explain that? You get blessed in with three different laws. Like when I was blessed in, the three laws I was blessed in with was I will sacrifice my life for nation's cause. I would abide by all commands given to me by the king and all upon the chiefs, and I will greet and salute any member of the black disciples nation with the touch of a hand and a clenched fist. I just want to be clear. What was the first one? I was sacrificing my life for the nation's cause, for the nation's causes, meaning the black disciple nation. Yes. Okay. What was the second one? I will abide by all commands given to me by the king and upon all of the chiefs. Abide by the commands of the leadership of black disciples? Yes. What was the third one? I will greet and salute any member of the black disciple nation with the touch of a hand and a clenched fist. That one has to deal with greeting and saluting fellow black disciples? Yes. Okay. What does the first one mean? Basically, like you're going to put your life on the line for what they tell you to do. Does that include not tolerating disrespect? Of course. You said, of course. I want to talk to you about some of the principles within the gang of the black disciples. It is important to be loyal to your block and loyal to the black disciples as a member of the black disciples. Yes. Can you please tell us about that? I mean, you've got to be trustworthy. A brother has got to trust you in every way. Situations like this, you've got to be able to count on other black disciple members. Okay, you said situations like this. What are you referring to when you say situations like this? People going to jail and cooperating. Okay, in other words, a part of loyalty as a black disciple member is to not cooperate with law enforcement. Yes. Not testify against other members. Yes. Not testify in general. Yes. Are you familiar with the term get back? Yes. What does that mean to you? Get back is basically revenge. Revenge for like somebody unaliving one of your homies. Somebody shot one of your homies. You get back. You get revenge. You get your lick back. Get back. You are getting your lick back. Yes. Is that something that is kind of known on the streets? Or rather, a certain black disciple member or block got their lick back or got you get back or not? Yes. Can it look bad if you don't get your lick back or get your revenge? Yes. How is that? I mean, you don't want to be looked at as no weak block. You don't want nobody to feel like they could come and unalive you and just get away with it because people going to prey on that, and you got all the black disciples that push the issue too. Like, it's just not something you are allowed to happen. Are there encouragements? Is there encouragement for you to get in terms of just the culture around gangs, even from non-gang members? Wait, can you say that again? Let me ask you this. Can even your family be disappointed sometimes if you don't get your get back? Yeah. Believe it or not. Yeah. And what? Mothers be mad. Even grandmothers be mad that they feel like their loved one got unalived and nobody done one behind it. What about where a prominent member of the Black Disciples gang is unalived by some rival? Is it especially important, or is it just the same? The issue might get pushed a little more. Yeah. Why is that? Because some people are just more important than others. So does that mean that getting revenge for some folks is more important than maybe a non-participant of the gang? Yes. The leaders within the gang and the prominent members, are they kind of held up as examples of how strong a block is? Yes. Is that a part of the reason why it's important? Yes. What about respect? Is respect important and I understand it might be important to you broadly, but I'm talking specifically about in the Black Disciples. Is respect important? Yeah. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, you are going to be respected. You don't want nobody to, if you are a leader, you want the people that you lead to respect you. You don't want them to just go behind your back, probably do snake stuff, not listen to you. You got to say, if somebody don't respect you, then how can they look up to you? Can it be dangerous if not to not be respected? Yeah. How is that? Because if you ain't respected, you could be a target. Is everyone in the Black Disciples considered a shooter, a person who can be counted on to commit shootings? No. Okay. Can you explain the different roles that people can have their identity around as a gang member in the Black Disciples if they are not just shooters? What are the other folks? It could be a person that gives money, whether that is selling drugs or a scammer. You could be a fighter, just really anything. Everybody got unalivers. Everybody around us not unalivers. People do all type of stuff that is not unalivers. Like, I can just speak all of them off the top, but it's people play multiple roles. Okay, do shooters get respect? Of course. A lot of respect, yes. Did you get respect? Yes. Were you a shooter? Yes, I was. Did you have a reputation for violence? Yes. I'm going to talk to you about that. When was the first time that you can remember picking up a blah blah and shooting at someone? I was 12. Can you tell us about it? It was Halloween and somebody came through shooting a paintball gun and hit one of the older guys in the face, shot him in the face with a paintball gun. And he was mad about it. And my cousin Chris grabbed the blickies and gave them to one of me and my other homies and told us, when the car come back down the block to air it out, shoot it up. And when the car came down the block, that is what we did. So this is an older gang member telling you and others to shoot at the car next time they see it, next time you see it. Yes. And you shot at it. Yes. Did anyone get hit that you know of? I mean, I was told that somebody got hit, but I'm not 100% sure. About how many times were you involved in shootings from the age of 12 until 18? Maybe 10, 15, something like that. I ain't sure, but around that number. And I just want to sort of put what you're saying into perspective now. You at the age of 18 essentially went to prison for 12 years. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So right now I'm focusing on before you went to prison for that long stretch of time. Okay. Okay. So about between 12 and 18, it sounds like. So you said between that period, about 10, 15 shootings? Yes. What about robberies in those days? Were you involved with robberies? Yes. Are we talking strong armed with your hands and fists, or also firearms? No, armed robberies with guns. About how many robberies did you commit during that time frame? A lot, a whole lot. Like, I ain't going to lie, probably 100 plus. Who were you robbing? Drug dealers. Was it just drug dealers? The only time I done robbed somebody other than a drug dealer was for food. You said for food. Why did you have the need to commit those robberies at such a young age? Man, so my mom and my dad, they was hooked on drugs. I had the responsibility at 12 to pay my mom's bill. Like, I'm my mom's youngest. And out of everybody, I was the one that stuck up, had to step up to the plate. I was the one that was willing to do it. And I got turned on to robberies, and it was an easy way to get money. And it's just what I did within the Black Disciples and Chicago street gangs in general. Are you familiar with the terms a name, someone having a name in the streets? Yes. Can you explain that to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury? It just means having the respect, a name for yourself. That is because you get money or you're being a shooter. People fear you. Just having respect, a name for yourself in different type of ways. You mentioned robberies. In 2010, did you participate in robbery in Racine, Wisconsin? Yes, I did. Can you tell us about that? So me and another baddie from my block who was asking me to ship at the time, he asked me to go with him to commit a robbery. Somebody that his daddy was dealing with out of town where he sell drugs at. And the dude played his daddy out of some money. Like, the dude owned a store and his daddy was cleaning his money to him. And his daddy told him, dude played him out of some money. So we was going to rob him, and we went to rob him. And during the robbery, let me just stop you really quickly. So We are clear this is a situation where an older gang member told you that there was some beef involved with an individual who owned a store who was cleaning drug money for his dad. Yeah. And this older gang member felt that this person, Mr. Stills, I'm going to object, ask questions, overruled. I'm just trying to clarify, Your Honor. Yeah, go ahead, counsel. Thank you. So this older gang member told you that this guy had cheated his dad out of some money. Yes. And this guy owned the store. And so the plan was to rob this guy. Yes. Okay. And that guy was located in Wisconsin. Yes. Okay. Did you participate in that robbery? Yes, I did. Tell us what happened. So we went in, we locked the door, pulled out the blicky. The guy tried to take off running. My other homie grabbed him. They started fighting, and my homie told him, shoot him, like telling me, like, dude, mayhem, basically going to go to jail. So when I shot him the first time, he said no, basically told me, like, I've got to kill him or he's going to go to jail. So that's what I did. What did you do? I put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger. About how old were you at this time? 17. It's going further into the trajectory here. But did you eventually speak to the FBI about that murder? Yes, I did. In 2023. Yes, I did. That was after you participated in the murder of Mr. Robinson, Lou Pab. Yes. Is that when you began cooperating with the FBI? Yes. Did you confess to this murder that you just described? Yes, I did. Have you pled guilty to that crime? Yes, I did. In the beginning of your testimony, when you were talking about the charges you pled guilty to, were you including that one? Yes. You mentioned, Mr. Banks. You called him Durk. Yeah. When did you first meet Durk? Like first meet him or knew him? Met him like 08, 07. Okay. How old were you then? 14, 15, something like that. Did you eventually know him to be a black disciple from Lamb Run 300? Yes. How did you find out that he was a black disciple from Lamb Run 300? So I went to jail. When I came home from jail, like he was around. He was at our meetings, shaking up Lamb Run. He was at all the parties. I mean, he hung around. And when you say that you said he was shaking up Lamb Run. Yeah. Are you referring to a handshake that Lamb Run 300 gang members have? Yes. Do you have any gang related tattoos, sir? Yes. What kind or what do they say? I got 2 for 14, me, BD. I got 300. I've got Lamb Run 300. I've got OTF. You have 300. Is that considered to be like Lamb Run? Yes. Do black disciples have gang signs? Do we have gang signs? Yes. Yes. Your Honor, I'm not sure if Exhibit 182 is in evidence, but if not, I will move to admit it. It's been pre-admitted by the court. 183 will be admitted. Exhibit number 183 received. Thank you. If we could show page 1 of 182. All right, counsel. If you could just pause for a moment. The court counsel may proceed. Thank you. Showing you page 1 of Exhibit 183. Do you recognize the individuals in this photograph? Yes. Who are they? Durk and Diddy. And do you see any gang signs here? Yes. What do you see? Durk dropping wise. And this is a hand in the corner that looked like he's slamming racks. Did I just circle the hand in the corner that you referenced? Yes. Okay. You just said a couple of things that we probably need to unpack. You said that the hands that we see in the foreground here, can you tell us whose hands those are in the circle right here, indicating those hands? Oh yeah, those hands. Whose hands are those? Those are Durk's hands. Okay, focusing on those hands. You said Durk is dropping the Y's. Yes. Okay. Do the black disciples have specific gang signs that they use to communicate disrespect to rivals? Yes. Is another term for rivals ops? Yes. Okay. And you just said that Durk is, Your Honor, object to leading, overruled. You just said that Durk is dropping the Y's. Yes. Can you explain that? If I want your money, they ops. That is what they do with the Y's. You drop them and you disrespecting them. When you say they ops, are they ops to black disciples? Yes. Why? Generally, they did a lot of wrong to the black disciples. They killed a lot of important people. They've killed that gang. 051 has killed a lot of important black disciples. Yes. It's important to disrespect rivals who have killed your rivals. Objection, Your Honor. Sustain. Ask your next question. Sure. The hand to the upper left hand corner here. Do you see this one? Yes. You said that's dropping the racks. Yes. What is that? Dropping jitty. Can you explain that? Just gangster disciples is people that we don't like. So gangster disciples, they are like nowadays rivals to black disciples. Yes. Kind of sort of like Bloods or Crips. Your Honor, a Los Angeles jury, the reference will be understood. The witness can answer yes or no, or I don't know, overruled. Yes. I want to show you another exhibit. Your Honor, the court has pre-admitted this exhibit. It is Exhibit 156. 156 is admitted. Thank you. I want to run this exhibit for you a couple of times, and then we're going to pause, okay? Let's run it again and pause at 11, please. Pause. All right, pausing at about 11 seconds. You recognize Durk in this video? Yes. Okay, first of all, where do you recognize the location? The corner of 59th and Princeton. Yes, that is Tay Town. Is that a significant location for the Black Disciples? Yes. You say Tay Town. Is that a block within the Black Disciples like Lamron? Yes. Okay. When we ran the video, did you see any gang signs being thrown? Yes. Okay. What is Mr. Banks doing with his hands? Run it again. The video is played. Just play it. He's just throwing up OTF. Do you see anybody here throwing up King Von? I see people dropping Jitty. I see people dropping Wise. You stopped it, so I can't. Well, let me just ask you this. Is there a specific gang sign that is meant to memorialize King Von? Yes. Who made that sign up? I don't know. Did it exist when you got out of custody? Yes. Okay. Did you learn it from OTF members? Yes. Okay. Is that common for gang members to create gang signs to memorialize significant gang members who have died? Relevance overruled. Yes. Are you familiar with, you mentioned OTF already. Yes. What does that stand for? Only the family. When is the first time you heard that term? A long time ago, maybe before it even got bigger than what it is. Okay. When did you hear about it first? And what did it refer to? So I'm from Lamron, and like before any of that was about, we used to say OTF a long time ago, but it never went nowhere. Like it never took off. It never was really, it was just us being young. Was it used in a way to refer to what is known as Lamron? Yes. But it just never took off at the time. Yes. Was it later popularized? Yes. How? Music. Whose music? Durk's, Keith's, Rondo number 9. Are you naming other gang members in the south side of Chicago who claim OTF? Yeah. Your Honor, this is far afield. I believe the last question was not, but it could be that we are getting there. Yeah, I'm going to, ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you of this, that again, the reason you are hearing this is the two reasons I've told you a number of times. Now, one is to show links among the alleged co-conspirators. The other one is to, in the government's view, shows a particular motive for the alleged conspiracy. And that is the only reason that we are hearing this evidence. Go ahead, counsel. Thank you, Your Honor. I want to shift gears to the individual that you referred to as Didi. Yeah. Is that Mr. Wilson? Yes. Okay. Can you, let's put up 165, put up exhibit 165 in front of you there. Do you recognize who is depicting that in that tattoo? Yeah, that's Didi. He appears to have a chain around his neck. You see it says, appears to say V-Roy. Yeah. Do you know the significance of that term V-Roy? Yeah. That is Von. And like he put, his best friend was T-Roy, which was another Black disciple that was killed. So he started calling himself V-Roy to represent his best friend. Okay, before you testify here today, did you review a video? Yes. Okay, did that video depict Mr. Wilson talking in an area of the south side of Chicago? Yes. In this photo, he has a sweatshirt that appears to say Tay Town. Yes. Is that the intersection that we are looking at before in the previous exhibit that you referenced? Yes. In that particular exhibit 164, did you recognize the area he was walking in? Yes. What area was that? It was Tay Town. Your Honor, 164, I believe, is already in evidence. Can we play 164? You may publish it. Okay, just in that regard, though, ladies and gentlemen, in regards to evidence 164, and this is being admitted solely against Mr. Wilson, not the other two defendants. I mentioned to you last week that there would be some evidence that would be admitted for a limited purpose, and this is such an occasion. In the jury room, if you choose to consider Exhibit 164, it should only be in regards to Mr. Wilson and to nobody else. Go ahead. Thank you, Your Honor. They played the video. Just pause the video. Are you familiar with the function on Instagram called Instagram Live? Yes. Is that a function where individuals can broadcast? I'll just object to leading, Your Honor. I understand what it is, but it's constant. The court. Here, it's just, look, there's no real dispute on this, Mr. Steele. It's just for the benefit of the jury. I can ask him to explain it in an open-ended way. I'm just trying to move through it, Your Honor. Anyways, the objection is overruled. You may ask the question, is Instagram Live a function on Instagram where an individual can start a video and broadcast it to their followers? Yes. Okay. You can play it. The video is played. Okay. I have a few questions for you about that video. Did you recognize the general area where folks were walking in? Yeah. Where is that? Tay Town. You said Tay Town. Yes. Okay. And you don't have to say who the people were, but did you see other Black disciple gang members? Yes. Okay. There was a term used, pop out, appearing to tell people to pop out. What does that mean? Like, come outside. Okay. Come outside for what? Whatever it could be. There was also a comment about sent that. The witness was, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. The witness was finishing his answer. Mr. Hester, you can finish your answer. I was saying it could be multiple things. Pop out could just be come kick it. Pop out can be like telling the ops, what's up? Come outside, anything. And there was something about, I'm sorry, however you choose to use it. There was something about sitting that low. Yeah. What does that mean? Like basically show us where you at. Tell us where you at. Speaking to the ops, yes, this is just a yes or no question. Did you know Mr. Wilson to be a leader in Tay Town? Yes. And in this video that was just watched, can you tell when did you get out of prison in that long stretch that we talked about? February 28th, 2022. Okay, that is when you went to prison. That is when you went to prison between the age of 18 and all the way up until February of 2022. Yes. And looking at this video, can you tell whether this video would have been after you got out of prison? Yeah, that was after. How do you know? Because Diddy don't have his hair no more in here. I mean, Tay wasn't a thing before I went to prison. And some of the things certain people have been around. What was the last thing you said? Some of the things some people got on, like Breezo, like the shoes or stuff. Like I have been around him when he had that on. I got it. So you recognize some clothing that you saw when you were out of prison. Yeah, understood. Let's talk about that period of incarceration. You said from the age of 18, roughly, you went to prison. 17. I was 17 going on 18. Okay, 17 going on 18. Why? What was the charge that you were in for those 12 years? Attempted murder. Before we talk about that, actually, are you familiar with someone named Antonio Jones, aka Booney Mo? Yes, Your Honor, Exhibit 9 is a demonstrative. It's just the photo ID of Mr. Jones. Exhibit 9 is admitted. Received. Thank you. Show Exhibit 9, please. Exhibit 9 is in front of you, Mr. Hester. Do you recognize who is depicted in Exhibit 9? Yeah, that is Booney Mo. How long have you known or did you first meet? I'll call him Booney Mo. When did you first meet Booney Mo? Like 05, 06? Let me make sure. Okay, everything is good. Like 05, 06 when you were pretty young? Yeah, okay. Was he also gang related? Yes. What gang? Black P Stone. Is that a gang that is friendly with Lamron or was? Yes. Okay. Is he a leader in that gang? Yes. Do you know what his relationship? How would you characterize his relationship with Mr. Banks from the period where you were out of custody? They was close. What about DeAndre Wilson? How would you categorize the closeness of their relationship from the period when you was out of custody? They were close too. Everybody call it brothers. Yes, brothers. Yeah. Do me a favor. Keep your voice up just a little bit, please. If you need to move the microphone, feel free to do that closer to your face. So you said that both of these individuals like brothers to Mr. Banks? Yes. Okay. Now you said you were incarcerated for this attempted murder charge. Did that have something to do with Booney Mo's block? Yes. The crime that you committed? Yes. Okay. And while you were in custody for those 12 years, did you keep in contact with gang members who were outside, still home on the streets? Yes. How did you keep in contact with them? On the phone, jail phones? Yes. Is it important for a gang member? Is it important for a gang member who is in custody to keep in contact with members who are on the outside? Yes. Why? You want to know what is going on in the streets for multiple reasons. Could be somebody getting killed. You want to know the homie. You want to know the ops potentially can land a location on you, with you. You want to know what is going on. You don't want to be in the dark about stuff. You don't want to be blind to what is going on. Can those ops who are outside also at some point become locked up and incarcerated? Yes. Is that another reason why you want to know who the ops are? Yes. Were you familiar with someone even before you went into custody for that period? Were you familiar with someone named Devontae Bennett, aka King Von? Yeah. When did you first come to know? Well, actually, can you put Exhibit 148 on the screen, please? Showing you Exhibit 148. Who is that in the photograph? That is Von, and he appeared to be wearing a chain that says OTF. You see that? Yes. Was he an OTF member? Yes. And there's a chain under that chain. It says, oh. Do you see that? Yes. Okay. Your Honor, the government moves Exhibit 154. It's a photograph of an O block. 154 is admitted, is received. Do a side by side, showing you Exhibit 154 side by side with Exhibit 148. What are we seeing on the right side of the screen? Parkway Gardens? Yes. Is that otherwise known as O Block? Yes. Is that a block or a clique within the Black Disciples? Yes, it is. Did you know did you know King Von to be a Black disciple in the clique of O Block? Yes. Okay, I want to talk about kind of how you first knew him. So you first met him before you went into custody on the attempted murder charge. Yeah, a long time ago. What was the contact of that? Of those interactions? Really nothing. I just knew who he was, more because of his sister than him, but I knew who he was. I knew of him. Were you trying to talk to his sisters at that time? Yeah. Okay. And then you end up going to prison? Yes. Before you went to prison, was King Von a Black disciple from O Block? Yes. Okay. Was he a prominent member or just kind of an old member? Just say he was just one of the shorties. Be with T-Roy now. When you say shorties, do you mean younger gang members? Yes. And when you say T. Roy, is that the individual that you indicated King Von inherited his name from? Yes. Okay. And while you were in custody for those 12-year stretch, did you eventually reconnect with King Von? Yeah. Can you tell us about that? So when I was in Monera, PH prison, I was around one of the other guys, he ain't in the same gang as me, but somebody that we all know as Bonham. And Bonham was in calling Von on the phone, like talking to Von. And he came one day just like, man, Von said, you don't call his phone, hit him up. He said, give you the number. So you got a message that King Von wanted to talk to you. Yeah. Did you end up talking to him while you were in custody? Yeah. Okay. At what point when you were in custody and talking to him, can you approximate for us what year was that? Like 2019, something like that. Okay. And but around that time, by the time that you talked to him around 2019, while you were still in custody, had King Von's sort of prominence, did he have a name by then? Yes. Okay. Was it a significant name in the Black Disciples O Block? Yes. He was a prominent gang member in O Block. Is that fair? Yes. Okay. Asked and answered and leading, sustain. What was that conversation like? The answer is stricken. The jury would disregard it. Go ahead, Mr. Morris. What was that conversation like? Oh, the court. Are you asking for? Yes. The details of the conversation. Hearsay, sustain. It's not for the truth, Your Honor. It's to establish the relationship or the lack of the relationship. You have established the relationship, counsel. Move on. Okay, were you close with King Von? No. Ever? No. That conversation that we had with King Von, did you continue to have multiple conversations with someone who was close with while you were in custody? Say that one more time. Were you close with him while you were in custody? Was I close with him while I was in custody? Yes. No. Okay. What about Mr. Banks? Did you keep in contact with Durk Banks? Yes. Okay. And just so we are clear, before you went into custody, how would you categorize your closeness with Mr. Banks? Were you close? Were you just acquaintances? How would you categorize that? He was just one of the guys. I mean, he wasn't really my circle I hung with. One of the people that was older than me. I mean, bro was making songs for the parties, I mean, we met each other and it wasn't like no everyday hang out, nothing like that. See each other, shake up. That's what's up. Just that. Did you say that he wasn't really in your circles? No. Is that what you just said? He was not in your circle? Yes. Okay. So when did you first get in contact with Mr. Banks while you were still in custody? So my baby mama, hearsay. It's the defendant's statement in any event, Your Honor. Excuse me, didn't sound like that. The court, you asked when, so ask that question again so Mr. Hester can understand what it is that you are asking. Sure. You can ask him when, just don't ask sure. Ballpark for it. What year did you first talk to Durk Banks while you were in custody? Maybe like 2012, 2013. All right. And again, you can ask what Mr. Banks said in the conversation, but just not anybody else. That was the point that Mr. Steele was making. Understood, Your Honor. Did you learn that Mr. Banks had placed money on had given money to your attorney? Yes. Okay. Did that cause you to have a conversation with Mr. Banks? Yes. How much money did he give to your lawyer as far as $1,000? Was that expected or was that unexpected? It was expected. Why? I mean, I ain't asked for it. And like I said, we didn't have a super close relationship like that for him to do that. I mean, I would expect that from other people who I was close to, but yeah. So when he did it, it was surprising. Let me ask you this. While you were still on the streets, do you have any reason to believe that Mr. Banks knew that you had a reputation for violence? I'm going to object to that, Your Honor. It's sustained. Did Mr. Banks write songs where he talked about your murders? Yeah. Okay. Do you believe that he understood you had a reputation for violence because he talked about it in songs? Objection, Your Honor. All right. The objection is sustained. If it's relevant, you can make the point and close an argument. Okay. So you learned that he's putting money on that he gave money to your attorney. That creates a communication relationship between the two of you. Yes. And tell us about that. How often did you talk while you were in custody? It went from here and there till we started talking a lot. Did he ever put money on your books? Yes. How much? Like altogether? Just, can you give us an example? Are we talking thousands, hundreds? What are we talking? It was different. It would be different. It was different times. I mean, it went from 50 to 100 to a couple hundred to 1,000 like that. Can you give us an understanding of how, like, is 50 and $100 worth the same amount of money outside as it is in prison? No. Can you explain that? Stuff in jail in prison, like, it's cheaper, so it go a long way in prison. Is it important to have money on your book so that you can buy stuff? Objection leading. I mean, every question sustained. Counsel, it is. I can ask him why. It's appropriate for you to ask why someone in prison would need money, but just do it without leading the witness. Fair enough, Your Honor. Thank you. Do you know if Mr. Banks was personally putting that money on your books, or did you come to know that someone else was putting money on your books on his behalf? Objection, overruled. He was having somebody else do it. He did it himself a few times, but mainly through Jason. Is that Jason Smith? Yes. How did you know Jason Smith was involved with putting money on your books? Because when you get a Western Union slip through the mail, it had a person name on it. And like other times when I would call and ask for money, Durk would just tell me, call Jason, tell Jason to do it. Tell him I said do it. Would you do that? Would you call Jason? Yeah. Did there come a time while you were in custody that you learned that Mr. Banks was shouting you out in songs? Yes. Tell us about that. The first time I was in Centralia, and the other inmates, like every time they would see me, like they just say, free my nigga Jam, get him out the jam. And I didn't know. I just thought people was just saying that because my name is Jam. But one of the older guys I was messing with, Key, I bought Durk tape. I think it was called Life Ain't No Joke or something. But he had a song on there called Times, and in that song, that's what he say. He say, free my nigga Jam, get him out the jam. And I heard it. So I knew that it was there where it came from. One of your other nicknames is Jam, Jam. That's my only nickname. Okay. Are you familiar with the song by Mr. Banks called Back Again? Yeah. Okay. Your Honor, the government moves to admit 395, which has been pre-admitted by this court. 395 is admitted. I'm going to play this through and ask some questions about it. The audio is played. You've heard that before. Yes, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about some of these lyrics. It begins, blast his ass. I didn't even ask when it come to cash. I don't even ask when it come to cash. They catch him, blast his ass. Jam, get out that jam. I give him 50, ain't got to ask again. Is that referring to you? Jam out that jam. Yes. And I'll give him 50. How do you understand that? Like 50,000 cash, 50,000 money cash. And Mr. Banks continue. He was catching murders way back then. Is that you? Yes. And then he continues. The court, Mr. Morris, please ask the witness whether he believes it is referring to him. Yes, Your Honor. The court, and ask him why he believes that, not what it is in Mr. Banks' mind. Yes, Your Honor. Do you believe that he was referring to you? Yeah. Why? I mean, he say my name, ain't no other jam. And then he say he was catching murders way back then. That's when the Max was in. Max is a gun that I was known to carry. Murder with it. When I was younger, before I went to prison, that was just my choice. And a lot of people knew that. So that is why I feel he's talking about me. Now, would you say that while you were in custody, Mr. Banks was particularly supportive of you? Yes. Can you explain that? I mean, when you go to jail, it's like you lose. If I'm going to be honest to me and people forget about you, I ain't going to lie. He didn't do that. He stayed in touch with me. He made sure I was straight. He changed his number. He made sure my mama had it. You know, he talked to me even when he was busy and only had a couple of minutes. He still picked up his phone. Did you appreciate that? Of course. At some point you got out of prison. Yes. You said that was in February of 2022. Yes. Okay. Once you got out of prison, did you have any clothes when you first came out? Did you have any clothing? Yes. Okay. Were you giving clothes? Yes. By who? Durk done bought me some clothes and Jason gave it to my mom for me. Can you explain that? I had talked to Durk on the phone and I told him like I was basically coming home to nothing. Like I ain't got no clothes. I ain't got nothing. And he's like, yes, you do. You got us. You come home with us. And I told him I needed some clothes. And he said he was going to have Jason to pick me up some stuff. Like call Jason and tell Jason your sizes. Did you do that? Yes. And was clothing delivered to you when you got out of prison? Yes. High-end clothes or just regular clothes? No, it was designer stuff, high-end. And did you eventually, when you got out of prison, at some point meet up with Durks and OTF? Yes. I object to the term OTF. The court, all right. The objection is that compound. The objection that is compound is sustained. Ask Mr. Banks and then ask about OTF. Did you meet up with Mr. Banks and was he present with OTF members when you met up with him? Yes. You have been talking about Jason Smith during the testimony. Your Honor, the government moves to admit, if it's not admitted already, Exhibit 112, which is a photograph of Mr. Smith. Wait a minute. 112 is admitted. Is admitted this show. Thank you. Publish. Okay, 112, showing you Exhibit 112. Do you recognize who's in this photograph? Yes. Who is that? It is Jason. Is he holding a photograph of someone? Yeah, of Vaughn. And Your Honor, when you met up with Mr. Banks, were photographs taken of you in the group? Yes. Okay, Mr. Banks. Excuse me, Your Honor, the government moves to admit Exhibit 113, which is a collage of those photographs. Let's let the witness tell us what it is, Mr. Morris. Exhibit 113 is admitted. Yes, Your Honor. Publishing 113, please. Thank you. Mr. Hester, can you recognize the photograph I'm showing you? Yes. Okay, do you remember how long you had been out of custody? Is this when you were out of custody? Yes. Do you remember how long you had been out of custody when this photograph was taken? Not that long, like maybe, I don't know, like 5 days, a week, something like that. Not that long though. A couple of days, I'm not sure, but it wasn't that long. Where were you when this photograph was taken? This was Detroit. How did you get there? A driver, Sam, took me, Boogie and Whoop to meet Durk. You said a driver named Sam took you, Boogie and Whoop? Yes. Okay, we'll talk about who Boogie is a little bit later, okay? But you end up meeting up with Mr. Banks. First of all, can you identify the individuals in this photograph? Yes. From my left is me looking at the screen. To my left is Twin. Then there's Dee. Then there's me. Then there's Durk, little cuz and Whoop standing behind, Boogie on the side of him. Okay. So this is the person you indicated is Dee. Yes. Okay. What's he doing with his hands? Dropping rakes. Disrespecting gangster disciples? Yes. Who is this individual here on the far left? Indicating twin. Yeah. Is that an OTF member? Yeah. Okay. And obviously this is Mr. Banks. Yes. What's he's holding with his hand? OTF. And who is this individual here? My cousin Whoop. Yeah. Can you spell that for the court reporter? Is it WOP? Yep. Yeah. WOP. Thank you. And who is this individual here? Boogie. Do you know Boogie's real name? Asa Houston. Okay. Did he participate in the murder of Lupab with you as well? Yeah. What was his role? The driver. Okay, was Mr. Houston, and I call him Boogie, was Boogie also a gang member? Yes. What gang? Boogie was GD. Against the disciple? Yes. How was it that he was hanging out with these other people? Because he grew up around, like, where they from off Green, it's like it's Boogie's energy. He right there. He grew up with D-Thing in them. So we ain't look at them. They was GD. We ain't look at them. They was GD. So we ain't look at them like no ops or nothing. Just so we understand, Boogie grew up around with you guys. No, Boogie didn't grow up. He grew up around D-Thing. That is Mr. Banks' brother. Yeah. Okay. So he was close with your group for that reason. Yeah. You're saying, yeah. Was he in OTF too? Did he claim OTF? Yeah. I want to go to page 5, please. Showing you page 5 of Exhibit 113. What are we looking at here? Me and Durk on stage in Miami. Is that a club? Yes. Okay. Were other members of OTF there at the time? Yes. Let's go to page 3, please. Showing you page 3 of the same exhibit. There is an individual to the far left of this photograph standing up. Do you recognize that person? Yeah, this is Duty Low. Duty Low? Yes. Is his real name David Salisbury? Yes. Okay, did you grow up with Duty Low like the others, or did you meet? No. I met him when I got out of jail. Who did you meet him through? Who did I meet him through? Yeah, who introduced you to him? I mean, he kind of introduced me to himself, but when I went around Durk and them, he was there. Got it. Moving to page 6, showing you page 6 of the same exhibit. You are depicted in this exhibit or this page? Yes. Okay. Do you know where you were at the time when this photograph was taken? At another club. I ain't sure what, but it was a club. I think maybe this was in Miami too. I ain't sure. Okay. This would have been before the murders of Lou Pop though. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. And there's an individual here in a gray sweater. I just circled him from the far left. Do you know who that is? That is Cuz. You knew him as Cuz Vonnie. You said Vonnie. Yeah. When did you first meet Cuz? When I first went around Durk and them for the first time. When you first started being around Durk, yeah. Do you remember when the first time it was that you saw him, like exactly, or what was the circumstances? We was getting ready to, I think it was like a show or something. I remember him coming in he had 2 bags of money. Like if he was wanting to get blood money from him, from like the venue people, because it was like 2 big bags of money and he barely could carry them. He put them down in front of Blood unzipped them, and it was just like, damn, that is a lot of money. And I asked him how much it was, and yeah, that was my first time being around him. You used the word venue. Did you mean a concert venue? Yeah. So the first time you saw Cuz, he was carrying a big bag of money. Yeah, 2 of them. Did you have an understanding as to whose money that was? That was Blood money. Okay, they've used that term a couple of times, Blood. Who are you referring to when you say Blood? My bad, Durk. Is that something you call? Yes, Mr. Banks. Yes. Do you have an understanding of why the nickname existed? It came while I was in jail. Hearsay, then, Your Honor, abstain. Okay, so what was Mr. Do you know his name to be Kevon Grant? Cause yeah, I do now, but I didn't know it then. Okay, but you understood, going back to Mr. Banks, his nickname to be Blood, correct? One of them. Was that term used, Blood, within OTF and describe Mr. Banks? Yes. Is that what you guys called him? Yes. All right. And now getting back to Cuz, do you know his real name to be Kevon Grant? Yeah, I do now. Okay, you do now? Yeah, okay. What was his role within OTF as you understood it? Like I said, I just see him handling money, blood money, a couple of times. But other than that, it was like him always giving me guns wherever we were at, in cars. Okay, so let's unpack those two things. He provided you with firearms, yes. Did you know if those firearms are coming from him or were they coming from someone else? If you don't know, that's okay. I mean, I can't necessarily say where they came from, but I know every time, like, Mr. Still, objection, Your Honor, overruled. You can continue your answer. Speculation. You can continue your answer, Mr. Hester. I'll strike it if it's inappropriate to do so, but give your answer. So wherever you go, wherever we at, and no matter what state we're in, Durk always told Cuz to give me a gun. Get you, Jam, a gun? Yeah. Were you present for those conversations? Yeah, it would be right in my face. Did you have any understanding as to why Mr. Banks, everywhere you went, wanted you to have a gun? Objection, cause of speculation, overruled. Protection. He know I use it. You know how to use it. You said, I say protection, and he say, I'll use it. He knows that you will use it. Yeah. Did you get the impression that Mr. Banks encouraged you to be aggressive at times? Objection, Your Honor. Let's find out why. Overruled. 404A overruled. Did you get that impression? Yes. The court answered the question, Mr. Hester. Can you explain why or give us an example? When we was in Miami, it was a dude around us and he was looking at me like he was like kind of jittery acting. I didn't know who he was. So I asked him who he was and he told me he was one of Tory Lanez's artists. And I basically told Durk afterwards, having to ask the dude who he was. Like I told him, like, I'm going to start robbing these goofies coming around us. Like they got all this jury. I ain't got no jury. And Durk, like, that's what I'm talking about. That's the jam I've been waiting on. The jam he been waiting on. Yeah. Okay. Let me just unpack a little bit of what you just said. You said you were at a location and, Your Honor, can we approach? You may. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you can stand and stretch there at the bench. Then the court says, yes, Mr. Steele, Your Honor, I presume his testimony is about to be that Durk Banks encouraged the gentleman with this to commit armed robberies. I never heard, Your Honor, your court permit this. The court, it was, what is the specific example that you are bringing up here? The upshot of this is that our theory of the case is that Mr. Banks was keeping and securing the loyalty of Mr. Hester and encouraging him to be violent once he got out of custody. The clerk, excuse me, Judge, some of the jurors need to use the restroom in open court. All right, let's start with the break. Let's start again at 2:25. You are, and then we'll take another short break between then and 4:30. But ladies and gentlemen, you can be ready as soon as you can, no later than 2:55, and don't discuss the case or investigate the case. Thank you. The jury arrives, returns. All right, we can continue to discuss this here. Go ahead. Yeah, so our theory of the case is he used Mr. Hester to commit acts of violence, just like he did in the Los Angeles murder. Once Mr. Hester got out of custody, he encouraged Mr. Hester to carry a gun, to use it, if necessary, to rob people and to be generally aggressive. The court, I understand where you're going. The rob people, I think you have made your point. He's done this. I thought that it was going to be much more milder than this. So the objection is sustained and you've established this and you will stay clear of it. I mean, likewise, I understand that that is what your theory is, but likewise, it's just really speculation on his part as to what Mr. Banks would have known, especially when he was in prison, which is why I sustained the early objection. So likewise here, I mean, for different reasons, of course, this is 404B or not 404B. So this objection is sustained. You've established that to the witness. He felt that. I understand. I can move on. The court, Mr. Banks was encouraging him to be aggressive. Your Honor, we would just ask, because this came out of left field, that we need clarity. This is, again, we raised a 404B notice objection. They're continuing to smuggle it. They have done it from the beginning of this case. They have continued it from their exhibit list. This is unacceptable. Again, this adds to a basis for severance that we have sought. And now we are learning mid-trial new 404B evidence. So the government needs to lay it all out now before, or are we moving for a mistrial because it's unacceptable? It bleeds over to Mr. Wilson. All right. Is there anything else here, counsel, that could possibly be construed as Rule 404B? I don't believe so, other than what we discussed off the record and other than things this court has let this evidence, like the sliders, provide Mr. Grant, Mr. Hester with sliders. And I'll just say this is extremely intertwined with the government's position. Look, but the point isn't rather I'm just saying it's not 404B. It's something on which there should have been notice. I clearly did not understand that there was going to be talk about some other armed robberies. So you really just have, just to be candid with everyone, if it's going to make intelligent rulings. Yes, Mr. Steele, Mr. Fieldings, it's Mr. Finling. Your Honor, I just want to say, I'm sorry, Mr. Finley. No pun intended with this witness stole the words from me. This court has gone through painful efforts to vet all 404B issues, balance them against 403. We spent a lot of late nights, both sides, writing back and forth to submit our briefs and to just get sprung on this, raising. We may not know it, the name of somebody famous that we didn't know we could have used during jury selection. This Tory Lanez is a famous guy that is in jail now. It's just a lot of this is really prejudicial. I would like the jury to disregard what they just heard. You would think if you were going to raise a famous person that I understand got convicted within the last few years here in Los Angeles for violent acts in front of this jury, you would have told us before we would have told you. Your Honor, we just viewed that differently. And the upshot is that Mr. Banks told Mr. Hester that is the jam I have been waiting for. In other words, waiting for to come out and to be this person, and he deployed that person to Los Angeles to commit a murder to settle a beef. The court, that part about the reason the lyrics came in is, like I said, as long as the jury understands that is his belief and why that is something else, that is encompassed in this. So the specific request to tell the jury to disregard it is no, just move on. Understood, Your Honor. I will move on. Mr. O'Connor, for the record, a curative instruction 2. Drew says, and Your Honor, you should know, going to the point. I'm sorry, Mrs. O'Connor. What exactly is the curative instruction that you would want? The curative instruction would be that Mr. Banks is not on trial for any armed robberies, or, well, he didn't actually say the armed robbery. I mean, in front of the jury, I don't think the jury heard that. I heard it. Okay, Mrs. O'Connor. Yeah, he said he encouraged him to rob this person. Okay, well, I would strike that and I'll tell them not to do it. And, curative instruction. Yes, Your Honor, the point of my colleague's cross-examination, I know there's a few 30-something 302s. This incident is not, as I recall, in any of those 302s. And so this is just not something in 4 days or 5 days that we should expect to come out of the left field. I don't think the government can rationalize why they didn't let us know so we can vet these issues. Only I say that because, again, Your Honor has gone through tremendous effort to try. Mr. Finland, you don't need to say that, but we have vetted these issues. Yes, Mr. Morris, I wanted to say this is not 404B. As I've indicated, we view it as inextricably intertwined. Is long been disclosed to counsel. He has told this during almost every one of the 30 interviews that we've banded about. And also under 403, Your Honor, these men are being accused of stalking and murder. He's going to testify, Mr. Hester, that Mr. Banks was trying to kill or trying to encourage O-Block to kill Mr. Quando Rondo. I think the 403 analysis is a big picture analysis that falls within the conspiracy, and the other thing does not. Okay, understood. Your Honor, as we leave your bench, this is scripted to my view. Maybe it's not, but Mr. Hester and the prosecutor had this discussion. We should have included. It is not in the 302s. And how do you unwind this? So I am respectfully, I don't want to do this, but I am respectfully asking the court to consider over this break a mistrial, because I don't know what curative instruction you give. Mr. Wilson joins. All right. And moving for a mistrial. All right. I don't believe that Mr. Steele specifically made the motion. He says more that is something to be considered. If you are specifically making the motion, or, okay, Mr. Steele are making the motion or not. Yes. All right. Then fine. All right. We are joining. All right. You're joining. Is Mr. Lindsay joining in the motion? All right. Yeah. Mr. Steele, he's a wonderful prosecutor, but it comes from them. This is like the witness blurted this out and the witness, this was choreographed. It wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. And it's not for the prosecutor to say, well, it's intrinsic. It's 403 analysis. I did not come in the case late, but I read a lot and it was painful. It was a painful decision because the court severed the case. This is not necessarily grounds for a mistrial, Your Honor, says the prosecutor. He didn't even say that he robbed him. If he were allowed to continue, he would say, I didn't rob him. And so that is the fact of the matter as we know it. That has nothing, that might reflect on the witness. It doesn't really reflect on Mr. Banks. But in every event, what I'm going to do is tell the jury to disregard any testimony about him encouraged to act aggressively. Anything that was said in that regard should be disregarded. And I remind them that Mr. Banks, and for that matter, all three defendants are only on trial for the events which are alleged in the 5 counts of the indictment. Fair enough, Your Honor. Thank you. Brian Stills, can we take a couple more minutes rather than 2:55? All right, you can. Mr. Harbaugh, Your Honor, I do also have to address the issue with 164. We got the notes last night. The government knows and misrepresented to the court that the video demonstrated Mr. Wilson claiming to be a murder man. And as the government knows, and they glossed over it, that he's referring to me and murder man who was witness knows has identified to the government. They did not provide a transcript nor notice in advance. We moved to strike that entire. Well, that we will have to discuss that another time. I can't make that ruling right now. Right here, right now. So I think I know what he's referring to. Discuss it and then we'll discuss it later. Okay, thank you. Do we have a few more minutes, Your Honor? What's that? Did you say we got I just want to run to the bathroom. Yes. You've still got some minutes before 2:55. And thereupon there was a brief recess. The court, let's get going. The jury returns to the courtroom. The court, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, all 15 of you. Before your break, there was some testimony about an incident in Miami and a general question about whether this witness had been encouraged to act in an aggressive manner. That testimony is stricken and you are ordered to disregard it. And in general, I want to remind you that Mr. Banks and Mr. Wilson, Mr. Lindsay, as well, of course, are only on trial here for what is alleged in the indictment, the specific crimes that you have heard alleged in which I instructed you last Friday, nothing else. And to the extent that you hear anything else, I've gone over this many times in regard to OTF and the Black Disciples, is only to the extent that it helps you if you believe it does. And if it does not, that testimony in the deciding whether the government has met its burden of proving each element of these crimes beyond a reasonable doubt. Counsel, you may ask your next question. Thank you. If I could publish 113, page 6, please. All right. I'm showing you, Mr. Hester, exhibit 113, page 6, and you've already identified the individual in the gray sweater as Cuz, correct? Yes. Okay. You mentioned that he provided guns, and then you also mentioned that he provided cars. Yes. What kind of cars? Like hot cars, stolen cars. Did you say hot cars? Yes. Okay. And are these hot cars that he provided also known as sliders? Yes. Okay, before we get into that, is that a term that is used amongst Black disciples to slide? What does it mean to slide? Yeah, it's a Chicago thing, but sliding is basically like committing shootings, murder, a sliding your ops, pulling up on them. Is it typical to use a stolen car when sliding on your ops? Yes. Are those also called hot cars, as you've just said? Yes. You are saying Mr. or Cuz provided hot cars? Yes. And sliders? Yes. When you were in OTF, let me ask you this. Did there come a point when you had gotten out of prison and you were hanging around individuals who identified as OTF members? Did there come a point where someone had a conversation with you about what was really going on in OTF? Yeah. Who? Durk did. What did he talk to you about? So we was at a studio. We was having a conversation amongst multiple of us, and Durk pulled me to the side. And let me stop you for a second. Your Honor, can I lead through this part? I'm sorry, counsel. Please repeat. Tell me what the question was. The question was, did there come a time where Mr. Banks had a conversation with him about what was going on in OTF? Yes, I heard that. Yes, you may lead here unless I hear an objection, and then I'll rule on the objection. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Banks had a conversation with you. Yes. Did he express dissatisfaction that people weren't sliding for bond? Yes. Okay, and did he tell you that while OTF appeared a certain way, it actually wasn't that way. Yes. Okay. Did he tell you that people were acting Hollywood with an OTF? Yes. Did you understand that to mean that people weren't sliding? Yeah. And not really. Okay. You can stop there. Stop there. Thank you. Okay. So you mentioned did there come a point where you had a discussion with any members of OTF about folks that OTF had beef with? Yes. Okay. Did you come to that? Did you come to the conclusion that OTF was an organization that had beef with various people? Yes. Did that come to you as a surprise to you? As many people, yes. Is it fair to say when you were in custody, you thought OTF was just music? Yeah, that is all me and Blood talked about. That's all you and Mr. Banks talked about while you were in custody? Yes. All right. Counsel, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask the lawyers to approach. I hope this will save us time later on. Just bear with us just for a moment there at the bench. Then they come back. The court. All right, Mr. Morris, again, I didn't hear any objection from counsel or asking. No, this is for a limited instruction, but I see under no theory that the conversation with Mr. Banks could be a co-conspiracy statement. And therefore, do counsel want a limited instruction that is limited to Mr. Banks? Yes. Okay. Next, I have to say, I don't know how many times I have to say this to government. The conspiracy here is not OTF. This is not the second trial. So to my degree, I just don't see where you are going with this. Oh, saying that OTF was not just a music group. I mean, OTF isn't on trial here. It's not a RICO enterprise. If the conspiracy here is a conspiracy to stalk and kill Mr. Bowman. So I just really just want to ask here, like, I just don't get where we are going with this, except just where do you think you're going with this? Mr. Banks is expressing dissatisfaction with OTF, that OTF wasn't sliding for Vaughn, was not getting revenge for Vaughn. Okay, that is where this is going. Then ask him that. Don't set this up as OTF is not just a music thing. We've gone through that. OTF is not a conspiracy here. If you want to ask, did he raise dissatisfaction about sliding for Vaughn, then that is fine. Ask him that. But don't have this wind up where you're trying to deal with OTF. Look, you are the one who chose to indict somebody who arguably had a very great life and would be reluctant to throw it away. So deal with that. Don't deal with it by bringing in all this OTF stuff. That is the reason why I granted the severance. I'm not trying to, it certainly sounded that way to me. Fair enough. In open court. Counsel, you may proceed. Thank you. Mr. Hester, are you familiar with the term slide for Vaughn? Yes. Did you learn about that when you got out of custody? Yes. What was your understanding of it? Like, basically do something for Vaughn getting killed and do something about it. Did you ever talk to Mr. Banks about this quote unquote slide for Vaughn? Yes. Can you tell us about those discussions? He hated it. He ain't like that. People was trolling him, like say he only would like Vaughn a lot because people come out slide for Vaughn and it was getting to him. He didn't like it. Did he express to you why he didn't like it? It was just basically like nobody doing nothing. He just tired of hearing it. You know, that was his homie. That was his little ace and shit. My bad. Did he ever talk to you? Did there come a time where Mr. Banks had a conversation with you about Quando Rondo? Yes. First of all, when was that conversation? Like the exact date? Was it after you got out of custody, right? Yeah. And the murder of Mr. Robinson happened in August of 2022, right? Can you tell us in that window around when this conversation would have been? Maybe a month of me being out, or could have been before that. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to say maybe a month. Where did that conversation take place? It was in Atlanta in the studio, and Mr. Bank was present. Yes. Was anybody else present for the conversation? Yes. Who? It was me. It was Durk. It was Didi. It was Will. It was Lavarney, Duty Low. Yes. Okay. Anyone else? And I think it was Twin. Okay. Tell us about that conversation. I don't know who, I can't remember who initially brought up the trolling stuff, but Blood got to talk about it, and he got talking about what the rapper 6ix9ine doing, trolling stuff, and people stating on the internet and talking about slide for Vaughn and how people are not doing what they rap about. You know, he basically let us know, like, if a motherfucker catch Quando Rondo or Lil Tim, they're going to be straight. Ain't got to worry about nothing. If motherfuckers kept Quando Rondo, or if motherfuckers catch Quando Rondo or Tim, they will be straight. They ain't got to worry about nothing. What does that mean to you? What did that mean to you? Shit, money wise, like, you going to be good. Like, you will be rewarded financially. Yeah. And when you say that you heard him say catch Quando Rondo or Lil Tim, how did you understand catch to mean? Catch him mean to kill him. Okay. And when he said that, do you remember what the reaction was amongst the group? Did you respond? Can you tell us, give us a little bit of details? I mean, people was like nodding their head. And I think somebody had something like, that's like a half a ticket or $1 million like that. And Blood was like, man, motherfuckers don't have to worry about nothing. Okay. Like, just want to make sure I understand. You said you think someone in that conversation said that was a $500,000 or $1 million. Yeah. Do you remember who said that in that? No, I'm not sure. I ain't gonna lie. Okay. And how did Mr. Banks respond? Like, whatever. Motherfuckers gonna be straight. Motherfuckers ain't gotta worry about nothing. Did you ever talk to Mr. Banks about his use of the cell phone application FaceTime? Yes. Tell us about that. They felt, I didn't really know where they got it from, but he felt that FaceTime was the best way to talk on the phone because the FBI, the feds and stuff can't listen in on FaceTime. So your conversation that you had with Mr. Banks was mostly FaceTime, or was it or was it not at times? Can you give us a sense of that? Yeah, it was the majority FaceTime. What about the conversation you had with others like Booney Mo, for example, and Mr. Wilson? Did you ever have phone conversations with them? Yeah, FaceTime. Yeah. Was that generally the way that you communicated with those individuals when you called them? Objection, leading you under. Overruled. Ask your question, Mr. Morris. Was that generally the way you would communicate with those individuals using FaceTime? Yes. Okay. Now you mentioned that slide for Vaughn was something that the trolling, as you call it, was something that was frustrating Mr. Banks. Is that correct? Yes, it was. Okay. Have you heard a song with where Mr. Banks talks about sliding for Vaughn and trolling? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Morris, Your Honor, the government is publishing Exhibit 397, which has been admitted by this court. 397 has not yet been admitted, but now it is, and you may publish it. Exhibit number 397 received. Thank you, Your Honor. The audio is played. Okay, the song, it sounds like it begins with "They be on my page like slide for Vaughn. I know they trolling me." Did you hear that? Yes. What did you understand that to mean based on your conversation with Mr. Banks? Just basically doing, everybody always, that's their first comment to say, slide for Vaughn, slide for Vaughn. That was like they bullying, type of way, like to get under the skin. Did you get the impression that this was people online? Yeah. And then he says, got it back in blood. Did you hear that? Yes. What does it mean to get back in blood? Like revenge, like somebody bleed when they get shot. Somebody bleed when they get shot up and killed. Got it back in blood. It says, get it back in blood. Y'all just don't know. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. Like that it was supposed to happen. What do you mean by that? Can you explain to us, like when somebody do something to you or somebody care about, they kill them or shoot them or something, basically you just doing the same thing back to them. And that's a part of the gang. That's how it's where we're from. Like that's what we lay by. Get it back in blood. During this time period, again, when you had been released from prison, but before the murder of Mr. Robinson, were you traveling with Mr. Banks and his entourage? Yes. How often did you travel with them? All the time, whenever I wanted to go. Okay. And how did you get to the locations where those out of state locations sometimes? Yes. How did you get to those destinations, flights? And how would you arrange those flights? Through Jason Smith? Yes. Okay. Mr. Hester, there's a binder in front of you there. Mr. Morris, unless the court would just allow me to lay a foundation, it's a text message string, Your Honor, between what exhibit are we talking about? Is Exhibit 43, Your Honor. 1 second, between the witness and the individual. Any objection to your introduction? 1 moment, Your Honor. Is not being offered for its truth, Your Honor. Demonstrate the relationship. The court, I understand that. Counsel, I ask any objection for the purposes for which its admission was just started. Your Honor, I'm confused. It's 24 pages. I'm sorry, Your Honor, it's 24 pages. It just moved to admit not for its truth, Your Honor. All right. What I would like you to do, counsel, is then we will do this old school. We will have 43 in front of the witness. Tell us what page you want. He can look at the specific text, and then you can ask him questions about that text rather than admit the entirety of the exhibit. Yes, Your Honor. Do you have Exhibit 43 in front of you, Mr. Hester? Yes. All right. Then you may start asking questions, Mr. Morris. Yes, Your Honor. So do you have Exhibit 43 in front of you, Mr. Hester? Yes. Okay. Is that a text message string? Yes. Do you know who that is between me and Jason? How do you know that? That is Jason's number right there. And that is one of my old numbers. I'm sorry, Jason number, the 312-18 number. Okay. And I want you to turn to page 5 of the document, please, and let me know when you are there. Do you see page 5? Yeah. Okay. Do you see yourself sending a text message to Jason? Yeah. Do you see you are referencing Mr. Banks? Yes. Are you referencing authorship, authorizing a flight? Yes. And are you indicating that Mr. Banks authorized you to fly? Yes. And are you asking Mr. Smith to purchase you a flight? Yes. Okay. Your Honor, we move to omit this page and show it to the jury. You may, but in the future, if you would just read what it says and then ask the witness what he understood by it. Absolutely, Your Honor. Page 5 is admitted. Exhibit number 43, page 5 received. Obviously, read it and then ask him after I've had a chance to review it and see if it should be omitted. Yes, Your Honor. At the top of the screen, there's a blue text bubble. Is that you? Yes. Are you sending the message that says Durk ain't say nothing to you about a flight? Yes. And why are you sending that message to Jason Smith? Because that is how I get my flights. Like I asked Durk, he tell me he going to tell Jason to book it or tell Jason booking. Okay. And did you have authorship to have Mr. Jason Smith book your flight without Mr. Banks' approval? No. Why not? I mean, objection, speculation, overruled. That's the court. If you know, Mr. Hester, that's not my money. I mean, that is his money, his friend. So you had to tell Jason that Mr. Banks had approved it. Is that correct? Yes. Leading. I'm just summarizing, Your Honor. The objection is sustained. The final answer is stricken. Mr. Morris, you may ask the question again in a non-leading fashion. Thank you. I want you to take a look at page 13. Can you turn to page 13, please? Do you have page 13 in front of you? All right. I have reviewed 13. I intend to admit it. Is there any objection? Your Honor, may we just have 1 second? Pause the proceeding. And Mr. Stills, this is sidebar, I guess. We understand, Your Honor. All right. Page 13 of Exhibit 43 is admitted. You may proceed. Exhibit number 43, page 13 received. Thank you. If we could publish 13, please. All right. This is a part of the text message string between you and Mrs. Smith. Yes. Is that you in the blue bubble again? Yes. Does it say again? I just told Blood I need a flight to the A. He said, let you know. Is that what you wrote? Yes. Okay. Can you explain what you're doing there? Telling him that I need a flight to Atlanta, that I talked to Durk about it, and Durk told me that I'm good. And then you say you followed up with, did you holler at Blood? Do you see that? Yes. Okay. What are you trying to communicate there? Like basically, did you talk to him? Did you get the okay? And just strolling down just a bit to the last message on this page, Mrs. Smith appears to indicate or ask for when. You see that? Yeah. You understood how you understood. How did you understand that to mean? Like when you want your flights, what time, like when you going to leave? And did he get multiple flights throughout your time between February 2022 and August 2022? Did you get multiple flights booked for you through Jason? Say it one more time. Yeah. Did you fly multiple times where Jason gave you the ticket? Oh, yeah. Okay. And that was always with the authorization of Mr. Banks? Yes. Okay. And I want to talk to you about the events of October the 18th or the events of August of 2022. How did you first become involved with the murder of Mr. Robinson? I got a phone call from Booney and them. You got a call from Booney and them? Yeah. Okay. Just so the jury, my bad, is okay. Just so the jury is clear. Is that kind of a Chicago slang to say and them? Yeah. So it would be like more than one person, like Michael and them, John and them. Yeah. So you said you got a call from Booney and them, right? Yes. And tell us about that. Where were you when you got that call? I was in the car with my baby mama. We was just coming from dropping my son off, I think at like practice school, something that had to do with the school. I was just dropping him off when I got the phone call. Okay. So it would have been in the early morning. Yeah. Would it be is that the same day you ended up flying out from Chicago to San Diego? Yes. Okay. So it was the same day that you flew out. You get this call. You recall it being early in the morning. Tell me what happens. So Booney Mo called my phone and he like, look, bro, we need you to get on the flight and go to LA. Like we need you to do it right now. Like me and Blood. Then he basically let me know like Durk was on the other phone. He was like, Blood, you there? And he like, yeah, I'm here. And they were saying, Booney was saying that he had been calling the people, been calling threatening them, not answering the phone, calling them. So why they not answering? And he told me he would go, but he had to see his parole officer. So he couldn't go. This is Booney Mo talking. Yeah. You mentioned the word Blood. Do you mean you called Mr. Banks' voice? Yeah. Did it sound like you all were on a three-way line or did it just sound like his voice was coming from a separate device? No, he was on the other phone. And Booney said he on the other phone, blood on my other phone. Hey, Blood, you there? He like, yeah, I'm here. Generally speaking, did you have multiple phones at this time? Yeah, we all did. When you say we all did, who is we all? Me, Booney, Durk, the majority of everyone who hung around me had more than one phone. Okay, so you get on this phone call. You said you can hear blood in the background. Does Booney tell you anything else? Yeah, he telling me, like I said, he was telling me that Threat wasn't answering the phone. They would call multiple people trying to get them to answer, see if I can get them to answer the phone, call their phones. You said Threat wasn't answering. Is that what you told? Is that what he told you? Yeah. Is that a nickname for someone? Yes. Who? Diddy? Defendant Wilson? Yes. Okay. And so once he told you he couldn't get in contact with other folks, he wanted you to come out. What happened next? So he was saying everything he was saying, but he wasn't really telling me. Like, the only thing he's saying is he needed to hurry up and get on the flight and go to LA. But he not giving me more than that. And you could kind of tell the way he talking, like there was something going on, but he wasn't giving it to me. So when Boogie told me to try to get in touch with Diddy in my rappy, which is Boogie, I hung up the phone and I tried to call Durk's phone. And when I called Durk's phone, it rung like once or twice, and Booney called me right back. Like, what's up, bro? Like, Blood don't want nobody calling his phone who is coming to LA. Okay, you said Blood don't want nobody calling his phone who's coming to LA? Yes. What did you understand that to mean? Just, I guess he don't want no contact. He don't want no contact with nobody that's coming to LA. Like, he don't want them in his call log. I guess, I don't know. Okay, and so Booney called you back. What happened next? I just basically because he what's up? Like what I wanted, what I'm saying. And I just bought up the flights again. Like, do Jason know to book flights? Know to book my flight? And he yeah, call Jason. So I got off the phone. I called Didi phone a couple of times. I called Boogie, called my cousin Chris, and Didi wasn't answering at first. Boogie answered. My cousin Chris responded, and he said he would go, but then turns around and said he couldn't find his ID. Your cousin Chris, is his name William Macomb? Yeah. And you were saying initially the plan was for Mr. Macomb to come with? Yes. You used another word while you were discussing this portion of your testimony. You said rappy. Is that what you said? Rappy. Yeah. You said Booney is your rappy. Yeah. And Booney is Asia Houston. Yes. What does that mean? Rappy. It's just a slang or term, like somebody that you be with all the time and do stuff with all the time. Just, we say rappy. I don't know where it originally came from, but that's what we use. And were you particularly close with Asia Houston during this time period? Yes, we got close. Okay, so you indicated you were told to call Jason. You called him? Yes. Did you eventually have a text message exchange with Jason? Yeah. Was that text message exchange related to your travel? Yeah. Can you tell us about that? I sent him my information. I sent him my cousin information. I sent him Boogie information. Then my cousin Chris told me he couldn't find his ID. I let Jason know. And yeah. Okay, do you have that binder in front of you still? Yeah. Can you turn to tab 52 in this binder? Should be on the same one. 52, yes, 5-2. So these sheets or exhibits, please. I'm sorry. The exhibit 52, the court, this has been admitted. Oh, has it? I'm sorry. Yes, you can publish it on the screen if you wish. Great. It's okay. You don't have to find it, Mr. Hester. Do you see the text message string on your string there? Yes. And it looks like you text the name of William McComb. Did you see that? Yes. To Jason Smith? Yes. Why? That's my cousin Chris's name. Okay. And this is August 18, 2026. The timestamp is 8:02 a.m. Do you see that? Yes. When you text him this, though, were you in Chicago? Yes. Okay. So it might have been a different time for you at that time. Yeah. So you text William McComb, and then the next message, it looked like you put a birth date there. Is that right? Yeah. Is that Mr. McComb's birthday? Yes. Scroll down next page, and it appeared at 8:14 through 8:14 a.m. Jason Smith appears to respond with some kind of message. Do you see that? A thumbnail? I can't really see it. It's little, but yeah. If you would publish 52 and 52A side by side, please. Okay. Do you see on your right hand side of the screen, a boarding pass? Yeah. Okay. And whose name is on it? Do you see that name here? Yes. Okay. Is that the boarding pass you received from Jason Smith? Yes. Okay. Let's go back to 52, please. I don't believe that 52A was previously admitted. It will be admitted now. All right. Exhibit 52A is received. Thank you, Your Honor. If we could just go back to 52. All right. The next message you sent is where bro shit at. Do you see that? Yeah. Why did you send that? If you recall, basically where I don't know if it was either Chris or a Boogie flight. Them are the only two people information I sent. So I guess I was asking where either of them of their flights was. Okay. And if you could go to the next page 3, please. In response, Mr. Smith says Mr. Smith appears to say same confirmation. Do you see that? Yeah. Okay. And what did you understand that to mean? Like the same flight information. Okay. And then in response, it looks like you send the photograph. Is that big enough for you to see? Yeah. Okay. Your Honor, the government moves to admit this. The photograph 52B. 52B is admitted and received. If we could do a side by side of these two exhibits. Okay. Taking a look at 52B, do you recognize what we are sending to Jason Smith? Yes. What were you sending? Boogie ID. Why? So he could book his flight. You end up talking to Mr. Houston about going to LA. Yeah. At this point, do you know why you're going to LA? No. Okay. Do you? Not confirmed yet. Not yet. No. Do you pack any bags to go to LA, or you just kind of get straight to it? No, I ain't packed no bags. I was told like, go to the airport, like need you to get on the flight right now. So it was like an emergency. Like I ain't go back home and pack no bags. I just went straight to the airport. Mr. Morrison. Okay. If you could go to page 4 of exhibit 52, please. All right. On page 4 of this exhibit, it looks like it's a book bro shit. The homie Chris said he can't find his ID, gang. Do you say that in your text message? Yes. Okay. What was going on there? That's when my cousin said he couldn't find his ID, so he couldn't go. So I was telling him to book Boogie flight to go with me. And then you indicated it looks like he with me. We on our way to the airport now. Do you see that? Yeah. Who is he? Who are you referring to here? Boogie. At that point, Boogie would have been with you. I think I just said that. I don't think he was with me. I think he was on his way at the same time as me, if I ain't mistaken. Okay, you can scroll down a little bit. Next page. Okay, and then at 10:21 a.m., at least in Pacific time, it appears that Jason Smith sends you a message in response. You see this? Yeah. Your Honor, move to admit 52C, please. 52C is admitted and received. Thank you. If we could publish that side by side. Okay, showing you exhibit 52C. Does this appear to be a boarding pass that you were sent? Yes. In the name of Asia Houston. Yes. Now, when you were traveling to, well, let me ask you this. At some point, did you talk to Jason Smith about the precise destination where you would be flying into? Yeah. So he said that because at first, they was just saying LA. But when Jason called me, he said Blood don't want us to fly straight into LA. So we're going to go to San Diego. Did he explain to you why Blood didn't want you to fly straight into LA? No. You were traveling with Asia Houston, the two of you, right? Yes. Did you have any idea as to whether there would be others that were going to be traveling for Chicago? I think I got word Didi was coming, but that's it. Okay. And did you eventually go to the airport and take a flight? Yes. Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to move to admit 36. I think it might be already, though 36 is not yet admitted, I believe, but in any event, it is now received. Thank you, Your Honor. Publishing page 1 of 36. Okay. Do you see exhibit 36 in front of you? Page 1, Mr. Hester? Yes. Okay. What are we looking at? Me and Boogie in the airport. Okay. Is that the same? This is timestamped at 4:04 p.m. on August 18, 2022. Is that about the time you remember arriving in the late afternoon? I don't know. I'm not sure about the time. I ain't gonna lie. Okay. Let's go to page 2, please. Is this you and Mr. Houston on page 2 walking through the airport? Yeah. Okay. Go to page 3, please. Showing you page 3 of this exhibit. What are you seeing here? Do you recognize the man that is in the red highlight there? Yeah, that's me. That's you. What are you doing? Getting into a truck. Do you know who ordered? Is that like an Uber? Yeah. Do you know who ordered it? I think Boogie did. When you got into the Uber, what was the plan? Where were you going? To get something to eat. We was going to Hooters. Were you going to leave immediately and head out to LA, or were you staying in San Diego for a little while? Yeah, we were staying there because we was waiting on Didi to come. We was waiting on his flight to land, and we all was going to leave together. So someone told you that you were going to be waiting for Mr. Wilson? Yes. Who told you that? I think that was Cuz who told us, because I know he had a Sprinter van coming to get us. When were you first in contact with Cuz when you landed? I'm not even sure. Okay. But did you talk to him on that day? Yeah. Okay. By the way, in terms of your relation, were you close with Cuz? What was your relationship with Cuz? Just give me guns. Okay. Is he someone that you would have taken orders from? No. Is he someone who you would have flown out of Los Angeles if he told you to go? No. Why do you say that? I mean, because we don't even got that type of relationship. He a nobody. This is Durk's friends. I don't take orders. I won't take orders. Like, who is him to take orders for? He ain't nobody. You say he's a nobody, but he provided you with things. Then yeah. Okay. But you wouldn't take orders from him. It sounds like no. Okay. So you said you go to a restaurant. Yeah. Which one? Hooters. Okay. And who is there with you at the Hooters restaurant? Who was there? Yeah. Who was there with you? Just me and Boogie. Okay, and while you were at the Hooters restaurant, did you find out more details about why you are in Los Angeles? Yes, I did. Can you tell us about that? We talked to Duty. Duty Low? Yes. Tell us about it. Duty let us know that he got word from somebody at a weed dispensary that Quando Rondo and them was coming to buy weed from him, and we was going to kill him. You know what I'm saying? We was going to catch him before he got to the weed and kill him. Taking a step back around this time, had there been other efforts to locate Quando Rondo that you know of? Yeah, a few times. So it would have came up before that they had found the location of him out there but was it unsuccessful in terms of locating him? It was only unsuccessful because you don't have to tell me why. Was it successful? No. Okay, but it was accurate to say that you all had been looking for Quando Rondo or open to locating him. Yes. Objection vague, overruled. Okay, so you learned from Duty Low that you were there to kill Quando Rondo because you all had his location. How does that communication come? Is that a phone call? Is that text message? How does that happen? With Duty? Yes. FaceTime. Duty FaceTime one of you? Yes. Was it, do you remember if it was you or Mr. Houston? It was one of us. It was just me and him. It probably was my phone. Okay. And did he give you any other information that he was just in tune with them and he going to know when Quando and them land and what hotel they're going to be with and stuff? So let's just unpack that. You, Duty, said that Quando Rondo's hotel that they knew where he was staying. Yes. Okay. And you said something about he was into it with them. No, in tune. Like he in tune with the dude who is supposed to be selling Quando the weed. Like he was in tune with them. Like dude was telling him their moves, like where they was going to be at and stuff like that. Somebody was providing a location of Quando Rondo. Yes. Okay. And so is this the first time you are hearing about what the plan was in Los Angeles? Yes. Okay. What was your reaction? Like internally, is this something you wanted to do? Is this something that like what was going through your head? No, it ain't something I wanted to do. I'm just like, damn, like I wanted to get out of this, but I ain't have no way. So I just went with the plan. When you say you didn't have any way, do you mean you didn't have any way to get out of this? Yeah. Can you explain that to us? Why was it that you felt you didn't have any way to get out of the situation? Because where I'm from, you don't stop nobody from killing somebody, bro. That is a no-no that will get you killed. You know what I'm saying? They'll get mad and kill you, or people would think you are some police and kill you. Like, damn, what are you doing? What you on? Like, that is just something, it's just something you don't do where I'm from. You don't stop nobody from killing somebody. That will get you killed. This Quando Rondo beef, did you consider that your beef? Hell no. No. Why did you say that? Because, bro, that was some Vaughn getting into it with NBA Youngboy about one of his homies he's messing with. It was some rap stuff. I'm not in that industry. You know what I'm saying? Them two are people in Chicago. That stuff is going on. That ain't had nothing to do with me. Were you comfortable with committing a shooting in Los Angeles? No. You said that pretty quickly. Can you explain why you have that reaction? Because I'm not from there. Like, if anything was to go wrong, like, I was thinking about it at the time. Like, if anything was to go wrong, rather we get into a high speed chase, any of that, like, I don't know where to go. I'm not from here. Like, I don't know these places, you know, like if we crash and I get it and I got to run on the run where I'm going to be running to, like, I don't know nothing about this place. Have you been in a situation like that before in Chicago where you were doing some kind of violent act and had to get away from the police? Yeah. And are you saying it benefited you knowing the terrain? Of course. And when I asked you if this was your beef, when I asked you if this Quando Rondo beef was yours, you mentioned that Vaughn had gotten into it with an NBA person. Yeah, with an NBA young boy. And that had nothing to do with, as far as you were concerned. No, man, it really had nothing to do with me. He was just around with the homies. Who is him? Vaughn. I'm sorry. So you didn't have anything to do with being King Vaughn? No. What I'm saying is, you said, did him getting into it with NBA Youngboy have anything to do with me? And I said, no, it didn't have nothing to do with me, meaning Vaughn. Vaughn was just riding with his homies. They met a dude and stuff escalated from there. Did you feel like this was something that you personally needed to get back for? No. Why is that? He was a black disciple. You are a black disciple. Why didn't you feel like you needed to get revenge? Yes, he's a black disciple. he's not a black disciple from my block, so I'm not obligated. And he's not my homie. Like, that is not nobody that I grew up with, kicked it with, everything who I got feeling for, like that I got love for. When somebody do something to him, do I want to do something back? No. Okay, so it sounds like that was your internal reaction. What did you say in response to Duty Low, saying that you were there to kill Quando Rondo? Nothing. Me and Boogie looked at each other and just like, all right, okay. So you decided you were going to do it. Yeah. Okay. Did you eventually meet up with some other individuals in San Diego who ended up committing the murder with you? Yes. Who? Diddy, Flocka, and the CVL Shorty. You say Diddy, that is defendant Wilson. Yeah. Let's first talk about the person that you referred to as Flocka. Your Honor, may we publish a demonstrative exhibit 24? It's a photograph of Mr. Jones. All right, you may. When you say demonstrative, is that, I take it you want it to in evidence? If the court would allow it, we would admit it into evidence, Your Honor. If you recognize the photo, then yes, exhibit 24 will be admitted. Thank you. Publishing exhibit 24. Do you recognize who is in exhibit 24? Yes. Who is that? That is Flocka. Had you met Flocka before? You saw him in San Diego? Yes. When did you first meet Flocka? In juvenile hall? Yes. And how long were you in juvenile hall for that particular stint? I don't know. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. So you met him in juvie hall. Were you guys like friends in juvie hall? What was going on there? Yeah, I used to do a lot of fighting. I used to do a whole lot of fighting, and that is how we became cool. Me beating people ass. Witness, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Hester. Well, let me ask you this. After you got out of juvie hall, did you continue to be friends with Mr. Jones? Oh, no. Okay, did you fall out of contact with him? Yeah. When you saw him in San Diego on August 18, 2022, when was the last time you had seen Mr. Jones? Had it been years? Had it been weeks, months? Can you give us a sense of when the last time I seen Tim? No, because like when I came home from prison, like I started seeing Flocka on Diddy Block. Like he was hanging on Diddy Block. So I was seeing him. You saw him around? Yeah. On Diddy's block? Yeah. Did you guys like talk on the phone, text, anything like that before the shooting? No. Do you remember if you had his number saved in your phone at all? No, not at all. No, not at the time. I didn't. Okay. Were you surprised to see him in San Diego? Yeah. I ain't going to necessarily say surprised, but I didn't think to see him. No. Okay. And you mentioned you also saw somebody else, and you've said this a couple of times, the CVL Shorty. Yes. Yeah. When you say CVL Shorty, are you referring to Mr. Lindsay? Yeah. Okay. What about Mr. Lindsay? Were you close with Mr. Lindsay before August 2022? I didn't know him. I never seen him. I didn't see him until that day. That was the first time you met him. Yes. Okay. And in terms of Mr. Lindsay and Mr. Jones, when you got out of prison and started hanging out with individuals who claim OTF, were they hanging out with guys, Mr. Jones and Mr. Lindsay? Were they in OTF? Like I said, I don't know. That was my first time seeing him. So no, but like I said, Flocka hung out on Diddy Block, but it was to the extent though, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hanging out on Diddy Block. Let me ask this a different way. When you took a trip to spend time with Mr. Banks and other folks who claim OTF, would Mr. Jones be there? No. Would you describe Mr. Jones as someone who was in the inner circle of OTF or the people who claim OTF at the time? That's Diddy's circle. Yeah. But not someone you saw hanging around Mr. Banks. No. Okay. So when did you first meet Mr. Jones and Mr. Lindsay? Was it at the airport in San Diego? What happened? Yeah. Think they was walking out, Diddy, they was walking out the airport together, and we all got in the Sprinter together. Okay. You got in the Sprinter van? Yeah. Okay. Who was all in the Sprinter van together? Me, Boogie, Diddy, Flocka, and the CVL Shorty. And again, Flocka is Mr. Jones, and the person you're calling CVL Shorty is Mr. Lindsay. Yeah. So you all are in the Sprinter van. Sprinter van is just a large capacity van. Yes. A lot of space in there. Yes. Did you all leave from San Diego airport to Los Angeles, or did you leave from Hooters? I think the airport, because I think me and Boogie went back to the airport, something like that. I don't remember, but we all left together. We left from San Diego traveling to Los Angeles together. Okay. And so then you and the individual you just named were in the Sprinter van and you were driving to Los Angeles. Yes. Okay. And what is that Sprinter van like inside? There was a driver, obviously, correct? Yes. Is that the type of van where the driver could just like reach back and, give a high five, or was there some sort of barrier? No, there was a barrier. It had like a little window. Got it. Okay. If you could turn to exhibit 160, Mr. Hester, it should be in a different binder than what you have been using. It should be in a binder that says volume 2. The witness, I messed this one up. I made I made the papers come out of it. That's all right. This one say 2. That's right. Now, what number you see? 160, 160. Okay, I got it. Do you see a photograph in Exhibit 160? Yes. Does that look like a photograph inside the van? Inside of I don't know. I'm the one on the right. I don't know if I'm on the right one. Okay. Do you see a photograph inside of a van? Could be. I can't necessarily say that's the one we was in. Okay. Does that look like the Sprinter van you were in, the interior? Yes. Your Honor, move to admit 160 with that understanding that the witness said that it looked similar to, but did not specifically identify it. So if you wish to use other evidence to try to tie that up, then I'll remove the limitation. Exhibit 160 received. Understood, Your Honor. Now it's admitted as long as the jury understands for what purposes, which is to say is to give you an idea of what the van looked like. Thank you, Your Honor. Let's publish this. Let's publish, please. Okay, I'm publishing Exhibit 160. You said this looks like the van that you were inside of? Yeah. Okay, but the van that you were inside of looked like you said, is not like the driver could necessarily talk directly to you guys. Is that fair? Right. Okay. So you are in this van. You can take it down. You were in this van driving to Los Angeles during that time. Did you ever make contact with Mr. Banks? I didn't make contact with him, but did he FaceTime him? I don't know if he FaceTimed Diddy. I know he was on Diddy's phone though. Tell us about that. So he got on the phone and he put the camera around to Flacco now on Flacco and CVL Shorty and said, here go the Navy SEALs. Something like that, like the Navy. Here go the Navy SEALs, something like that. You see the Navy SEALs? Did you see the impression Mr. Wilson was referring to? Who was he? Who did you get the impression Mr. Wilson was referring to when he said, do you see the Navy SEALs? He put the phone on Flocka and the CVL Shorty. Could you see Mr. Banks on the FaceTime at that time or at any time when you were in the Sprinter? Yeah. Okay. So there's a phone call. Did you hear his voice? Yes. But it sounded like when you were saying Diddy turned the camera in the direction of Flacco and the CVL Shorty. Yeah, he put it in the direction first in reference, here go the Navy SEALs. Yeah, here go the Navy SEALs, or you see the Navy SEALs, one of them. What did you understand that to mean? I mean, Navy SEALs are part of the military. I mean, they're killers, I guess. People that go on missions. I don't know how to put it. You said people who were on a missions. Yes. Okay. And you said you eventually saw Mr. Banks on the FaceTime. Yeah. Tell us about that. He go crazy, man. Go crazy. He go crazy, man. Go crazy. Something like that about me. And he put the camera in my face and I slammed the rakes to Durk and I looked up and I like, where you at? In the studio? He like, I'm in the stu. Yeah. It's that short for studio. Yes. So when the camera was on you, you said you slammed the rakes. Yeah. What do you mean by that? I dropped GD, something I always do. So you threw a gang sign that was disrespectful to the gangster disciples. Yes. Okay. And you asked him where he was at. You said that he said the stew. Could you see anything that told you where he was at? Or could you? Yeah. That's why I said, where you at? The stew? And he's like, yeah, I'm at the studio. Because I've been in the studio before. You've been in the studio that he was at? Yeah. Under what circumstances were you in that studio previously before then? Yes. I'm not sure. Okay. But it was someplace you had been. Yeah. It was Wayne's studio. Is that like a music studio, music producer? I think Wayne was a manager or something like that. Okay. So you said, you asked where you at. He says the stew. You dropped the rakes. What happened next? Him and Diddy went back to talking on FaceTime. Yeah. And where were you sitting in relation to Mr. Wilson? Were you in back of him? Were you in front of him? Were you sitting in the circle? How did it look? I'm always sitting all the way, like on the driver's side, all the way in the back. And Diddy was like in an angle of me. Okay. And what about the CVL Shorty? They was like right there in front of you. Like Boogie was there. So he was right here and there. Are you making a motion with your hand? Were they in like the side of the van, centered on the van? Yeah. Like you could see the center because it was me, then Boogie was over there. Okay, so when Mr. Wilson continues his conversation with Mr. Banks, was Mr. Wilson's back to you at that time? Some of the time he was moving around, like he was up moving around when he was talking. Okay, did you make any stops on your way from San Diego to Los Angeles? Yes. Can you tell us about that? I don't know which one was first, but we stopped was on top of a mountain somewhere. Like it was, I don't know where it was, but we was up high somewhere, and he's like, you can look down. It was dark, but you could see all the lights and house lights, street lights. It was up in the mountains somewhere. We stopped there for a second. We got out the Sprinter brand and we stretched our legs and stuff. And I remember someone trying to take a picture, but it was like dark. I remember I even like opened my phone to the video part and you couldn't really see down, like you just saw the lights, but we stopped there for a second. And then we went to it was either a Target or a Walmart, one of them. When we stopped at the Target or the Walmart, when you stopped at the Target or Walmart, did you all get out and go into the store? Yes, we did. Do you know why you guys stopped at the Walmart or the Target? Yes. Yeah, to get hoodies and gloves. Why did you need hoodies and gloves? I mean, because when you do something, you got to try to disguise yourself some type of way. And none of us had none of that. So it sounds like you all went into the store to purchase hoodies and gloves. Yeah. Did you purchase hoodies and gloves? Yeah. Did everyone purchase their own hoodie and gloves, or did one purchase it? How did that go? No, we didn't all like individually like go to the register and buy it ourselves. Yes, no. Okay, but you all got hoodies and gloves individually. Yeah. Okay, and you went back to the Sprinter and continued your way to LA. Yeah. Okay, you eventually arrived in LA. Yes. Okay, tell us what happened when you arrived. We pulled up to, I remember it was a car lot, like right there somewhere, like on the side of us, like we was on the street, a busy street, a wide street. But when he stopped, cuz said, go back, and he hopped on, said, what's up? And him and Didi stepped off for a second, like just them two. I don't know what their conversation or nothing was, but, and he hopped back on. Cuz was like, I got some bad news. And I'm like, what's the bad news? And Cuz said, I only got 3 guns. And so just so we understood, once we got to Los Angeles, you said Cuz met up with you in the Sprinter van. Yeah. And the first time you saw Cuz when he came to the Sprinter van door. Yes. Okay. Was there an initial greeting, or did he just quickly leave the Sprinter van with Mr. Wilson? No, we said, what's up to him. I think I even shook up with him. Yeah, but and then at some point, Mr. Wilson and Cuz stepped off the Sprinter van. Yes. So at that point, who is in the Sprinter van? Me, Boogie, Flocka, and the CVO Shorty. And you said that that Cuz eventually came back. Yeah. Did he come back with Didi, or did he just come back alone? He came back with Didi. And he said that he had bad news. Yes. So tell us what happens from there. So he said he got bad news. He only got 3 guns. So I remember I'm trying to see which of them it was. Cuz had them. He was like, Didi was grabbing them from him. Like, I remember that the 2 Glocks that had the sticks in them was hanging out one of the hoodie pockets. I ain't sure which one, but I know Didi grabbing the guns. He gave one to the CVL Shorty first, which was a Glock. Then he gave Flacco the other Glock that had the switch on it, and he held the Beretta in his hand. The Beretta, damn. And he said to me, I'm rusty. You rusty? He said, I don't know, kind of rusty. It's like been a while. Referring to you? Yeah. Did you take one of the firearms? Yeah. He gave me the Beretta. Was there any discussion before that moment who would actually be one of the shooters? No. Okay, so that was the moment that it was determined who would be the shooter. Yes. All right. And you mentioned a switch. What is a switch? It's a piece that you put on the back of a gun and make it fully automatic. You put it on the back of a Glock to make it fully automatic. And you mentioned that it was the one that Flocka, Mr. Jones had. Yes. Okay. What happens next? He asked where the car was. I don't remember who asked, but somebody asked where the car was. He said he was either pulling up behind us or was behind us, and we got out to look at the car. When I got out of the Sprinter, the dude, I couldn't really see his face really. He had his hood and shit tied, and he was like whipping like using his sleeve on his hood and like wiping the door handle and stuff off. This is another individual that you haven't mentioned yet. Yeah. Separate from the group that traveled to LA. Yeah. And not Cuz. Yeah, not Cuz. This is a person who Cuz was getting the car from. Okay. It appeared this person was delivering a vehicle. Yes. Okay. What did that car look like? It was a 4-door car, white Infinity, tinted windows. Did you understand that to be the slider or the hot car that was going to be used in the murder? Yes. So you see this individual wiping down the door handles with the sleeves on his in his hoodie. What happened next? Cug gave him his money. He went about his way. So he leaves. Yeah. Are you outside at this point? Are you still in the Sprinter van? No, we outside. Who is outside? All of us. I think all of us was. Everybody who came from Los Angeles. Excuse me. Everybody who came from the San Diego airport. Yes. And Cuz. Yes. Okay. And Cuz. Where was the driver of the Sprinter van? I don't remember. Okay. So the slider gets delivered, or the hot car. Yeah. What happens next? And me, Flacco, Boogie, and the CVO Shorty got in our car, and Diddy and Cuz got in the other car, the BMW. So Cuz got in the BMW with Diddy. Yes. And you, the CVO Shorty, and Flacco got in the slider, the hot car. Yes. Okay. Do you remember around what time it was? It was in the evening. Is that right? This was at night. Yeah, it was dark. I don't know what time it was. Don't know. So once you all are in those two different cars, where do you go next? We went to the hotel that we knew that Quando Rondo and them was at. And then it was we had to follow Cuz. And I'm like, to a little side block, like it was kind of dark. It wasn't too far from where the hotel was. But that is when I got out of the car with Flacco and them and got in the car with Didi. And we was going to see like the hotel, you know, the ins and the outs about it. So you parked a little bit away from the hotel from what you recall. Yes. And are you saying that you got out of the car and walked on foot closer to the hotel? No, I got out of the car with Didi and Cuz. I got out of the car with Flacco and them and Boogie and them and got in the car with Didi and them. Got it. And Cuz. So now is you, Cuz, and Didi in the BMW. Yes. And what do you all talk about? We was going to see, like, scope the scene out, like, see what was doing. Duty was on the phone, and Duty was letting it be known that dude told them he was a certain amount of minutes away, so they had to get ready to come down, and that the weed dude was expecting some money, but he ain't giving them nothing. Like he's just going to get the money from Quando, whatever the case may be. So let me just make sure I understand this. You say you are in the vehicle with Cuz, Didi, and yourself, and Duty Low calls. Yeah, he was on FaceTime. Okay, and he tells you that the weed guy who has Quando's location is close by. He wasn't really close by. This is what he told. He basically told Quando and them, like, he was, I don't remember the right number, but he was a certain amount of minutes away. So they're going to be coming down shortly. So this is coming from Duty Low. Duty Low is saying, I told the weed guy to tell Quando that. I'm just going to object to repeating the direction. The jury can hear the testimony if that's clear. Overruled. Okay, so Duty Low is telling you and the folks in the car that Duty Low, talked to the other person who was selling weed, who was providing Quando's location. Yes. And that person told Duty Low that the person had told Quando that the person was almost there to deliver the weed. Exactly. What was your impression of that? Was that some kind of trick to bring Quando downstairs? Yes. Can you tell us about it? Why do you think that? I mean, because that is what Duty was telling us. Like, dude not really coming. Like, Quando and them fixing to come down there, and basically, like, that is what the plan was to get them. Was like, when they come down to get the weed, can you publish Exhibit 13, page 6, please? Showing you Exhibit 13, page 6. Have you seen screenshots like this before? Yes. Okay. This is when you were meeting with the FBI to talk about your testimony. Right. Okay. And does this show a surveillance footage from the Level Hotel? Yeah. It looks like the place. Yeah. Okay. And does this look like the slider, the hot car? If you can zoom in, maybe it's kind of hard to see. Yeah. Okay. Zoom out, please. And what about this vehicle here? Does this look like the BMW that you guys were using? Yes. Okay. At some point, we was on opposite sides of the street at some point. Yeah. Can you repeat that? I said, yeah, because we was on the opposite sides. I remember I was being on the opposite sides of the streets at one point. The two different cars. Yeah. When you were on the opposite sides of the street, do you remember which car you were in? I was in the BMW. You were in the BMW? Yeah. With Didi and Cuz still? Yeah. Okay. So you got that call indicating that Quando Rondo may be coming downstairs from the, is very leading, Your Honor. All right. He continues to repeat. I understand that is your objection, Mr. Steele. The objection is overruled. Question. So Duty tells you that. What happens next? So, we sit in there for a minute looking through the look glass, see if you see anybody. We sat there for a minute, but then we end up pulling off. We all pulled off and we went back to a little side block, and we just we're going to go, and when we come out, we're going to let the other car know to pull up. Okay. So you were in the BMW right outside of the Level Hotel. Yes. And the other car, the slider, was somewhere else. Yeah. Like, we have our left. We went to this side block. It ain't that far away. I'm not from LA, so I can't tell you exactly where I was, but I was a little side block that was like dark, and that is where we had the hot car, Flacco, and them parked at. And me, Didi, and Cuz was in the BMW. We were going to go pull up, and we were going to go sit right there and see when they come out. And when they come out, we were going to make the call to them to come. Did they eventually come out? Yeah. That the guys knew? Yeah, they did. Someone come out? Yeah, what happened? So they come out just without a candle, or they just, it was crazy because from our point of view, why I say it was crazy, because I was just like, y'all don't even know people here to get y'all just coming out freely, just walking up and down the street, looking down the streets. One of them got on one of the little scooters, and it was just like, even Diddy said it. Diddy had the Beretta in his hand at the time, and Diddy had pointed the gun out the window like, boy, I could fuck them up right now. Like, they lacking. They easy. We got them. Like the dude in them, they was just really not paying attention to their surroundings or anything. And then we was trying to like figure out which one is Quando. And they were saying like how that got to be him with the armor fatigue, Pushaisky, because some they like, that's him. It got to be him. Dude that had the camouflage hoodie on, he had pulled the mouth part down at one point because he was smoking a cigarette. I think it was a cigarette. He was smoking something. I think it was a cigarette though. And we saw his grill. So motherfucker, like, that's him. And question, did you all call the people in the Infinity and tell them to come to the Level Hotel? We had them on standby. But like the police was ride past, like it was the police trucks, like ride past 1 minute, and here comes another one, and then here comes another one. So it was like, damn, this is kind of hot. Like police steady riding by. So was the decision made not to try to shoot them outside? Yes. You mentioned someone with the camouflage. You used the word pushaisty. Yeah. What is that? It's a ski mask. Okay. Like a hood covering. Yeah. And you mentioned someone was wearing that it was camouflage in color. Yeah. So you decided as a group, it sounds like not to. Your Honor, I'm just going to object to that I understand that. The witness has already testified. It's setting it up for the next question. The objection is overruled. By the way, you said that Mr. Wilson had a Beretta while you were in the BMW. Yeah, he grabbed the Beretta out of my hand. Yeah. Where were you sitting? Cuz was driving. He was in the passenger seat and I was behind him. In the back seat, yeah. Did you have a gun at that point? I had the Beretta at first, but Didi grabbed the Beretta, and that's when he like pointed it. Like, boy, they easy. I can get out and fuck them up right now. Like they lacking. Like he pointed the gun, not like sticking it out the window or nothing, but he pointed it at the window, like towards them. Like they don't even like they easy. Like if it hadn't been for those police vehicles that you all saw circle multiple times, what the murder had gone down right then and there. Yes, it would have. Was Diddy the only person in the car in the BMW at that point with the gun, or did anyone else have a gun? The other two guns was in the other car. Gotcha. They were with the other car. Yeah. Okay. What happened next? We just called it off. Diddy yeah, it's too hot. The police started riding up here. It's too risky. Use the word hot. Does that have a particular meaning where you're from? Yeah. So in Chicago, like when the police keep riding through your area, we say it's hot. Police hot. Can other things or people also be considered hot? Yeah. Can you explain that? Like drawing too much attention to theyself by the police, doing dumb shit. They say you hot. Got it. Okay. So it was too hot that night. Did you guys it was too hot that night. What did you guys do next? We went to a hotel. Did you travel together? Both cars followed each other to the hotel? Yes. By the way, while you were outside of the Level Hotel before you left, where were you all communicating via phone? Yeah. Was it FaceTime or regular calls? No, it was. If you don't recall, it's okay. Yeah, I can't say. But yeah, we were communicating through phones. I ain't sure if it was FaceTime or not though. Okay, but a decision was made to leave and both cars leave. Yes, you said you went to a hotel. Yes. Where was the hotel? I don't know. I just remember cuz saying, I'm not from California, so I can't tell you where nothing at. But I just remember cuz saying like, this, where we going to? I'm going to take y'all to the hotel. Everybody that go to Disney World or Disneyland go to this hotel when they're going to Disneyland or whatever. And all of you ended up going to that hotel. Yes. And did you handle check-in? How did the check-in work? Cuz went in and got the room, and then did you all go into the hotel room? Yes. What happened once you got there? Cuz told Cuz I needed some weed. Cuz left to get some weed. We sat in the room. Cuz came back out, came with the weed. We went out and got it. It's like the room was like on the first level, and it like had a little slide door that led to a little fucking parking lot. Me and Flacco and them went out there and smoked. We went back in the room. Shit, we laid down. It wasn't too much talking. People was on their phone and we went to sleep. Was they planning to carry out the murder the next day? Yeah. Your Honor, I think this is a good place to stop. The court, I'm sorry I didn't catch Mr. Hester. Would you please repeat your answer? The witness, I said, yeah, we planned on catching them before they left. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break for the day. Remember what I told you, do not discuss the case or anyone close to this case. Do not discuss the case or anyone close to this. If that should happen, then please let me know and do not investigate the case. Thank you. Jury dismissed. Deputies, you may remove Mr. Hester you may be seated. The motion for mistrial made by counsel for Mr. Banks and joined in by counsel for Mr. Wilson and Mr. Lindsay is denied. I was under the impression after our discussion at sidebar that what had occurred, which was not my understanding of what had been said, was that Mr. Banks had proposed some sort of armed robbery. That is not what happened. Reviewing the rough transcript, rather, what Mr. Hester said was he expressed jealousy of certain people associated with another rapper who had jury. And he stated he did not, and he should just rob them. And then Mr. Banks allegedly, although it's been stricken from the record, just expressed approval of that. That is entirely consistent with what the government was trying to show. And arguably, there was nothing wrong with it, and it didn't even need to be stricken. However, I did decide I would follow through on striking it for several reasons, and I hope this will be a warning. The first is this: I had said at sidebar that I would and I didn't want to have a long discussion on why I wasn't in keeping the jury waiting. The second was, this is really a pretty trivial point here in light of everything that is being discussed in the testimony of this witness. The third reason is that there was the name of a certain entertainer. It meant nothing to me. I accept Mrs. O'Connor's representation that this is the person of some fame, perhaps known to people in the courtroom or on the jury, and therefore the jury might have attached greater significance of this whole exchange than I did at the time. And the final thing is that while certainly not being a basis even to strike the testimony, let alone to have a mistrial, I do understand a certain sense of frustration on the defense part here, because I'm not going to get into who is correct. I have heard two accounts of whether that exchange between Mr. Banks and Mr. Hester, if it ever in the real world occurred, was referenced in the prior interviews or not. But rather, it was, the government does have some obligation here when we have litigated so much of these issues to give me a heads up. When I say give, okay, ask the question, but get an example. I thought it was going to be something even more insidious than what I heard, like, oh, he encouraged me to carry a gun, flash a gun. And that was what I had understood from the prior testimony. So, the government really has to let me know if there's going to be something of even potentially controversial going on said. But that being said, since there arguably was nothing that even needed to be stricken, then certainly having stricken it and given the limited instructions and the warning to the jury, the counsel requested the matter is taken care of. And really, in light of everything we are hearing, it's the idea that would somehow prejudice this jury against Mr. Durk is incredibly far-fetched. It simply just couldn't happen. So having put that issue behind us, we have a few minutes here. Mr. Steele, what would you like to raise before we start again in the morning? Mr. Steele, I just want to educate the honorable court. I was inaccurate. It wasn't a 302 in February, I believe, of 2025. So I just wanted to be sure of that. Thank you. Is there anything else and the final thing I meant to say is why I thought it was solitary to strike it is because had I been aware that this was coming, then I would have given a limited instruction, because I don't see under any potential theory that it could have been the statement of a co-conspirator at that time. And had I allowed it, I also would have said specifically that it should have not been admitted against the other two defendants. So that was yet another reason why it was appropriate to strike it. Anything else from the defense before we start again tomorrow morning? Yes, Your Honor. As I raised in the sidebar, and this is the issue, and of course, respecting the court's ruling, this is death by 1,000 cuts, Your Honor. And at a certain point, we go past the tipping point. As the court noted, or considering the trivial, we respectfully disagree. But at a certain point, it becomes too much. The major issue that I have, as I raised in Exhibit 164, the government offered that exhibit through a witness, did not identify Exhibit 164 for this witness. We received notes last night referencing a murder, which I am familiar with, the government is familiar with, and significantly, the government at any time they have offered audio has offered a stimulus transcript. We did not have this for Exhibit 164. I pressed the government prior to when they were going to offer it. They were vague. They did not at all mention that they were going to offer it for this witness, even though they had been identified the exhibits per witness. Then, Your Honor, we know from their notes and from their understanding that the basis that they represented why it was admissible was a purported claim that Mr. Wilson identified himself as a murder man. And we know that is absolutely false. He is saying me and murder man, which the government confirmed with Mr. Hester earlier today, that there was another individual in the video, but instead the government got to put in an entire 5-minute video of Mr. Wilson walking through a neighborhood where we were told it was going to be limited. The government represented it would be an excerpt, but then secondly, Your Honor, they misrepresented this alleged admission of being a murder man and would move for a mistrial based on that alone. The court, all right, the motion is denied, but let me hear from the government in response to your argument. Yes, Your Honor. Number one, the exhibit speaks for itself. As the court has heard, Mr. Wilson looks down at a comment from Instagram Live. We actually have the comments, but that is not the version. And he says they are saying Diddy is a murder man for sure that. So this is clear. Apparently there was someone else they named their name murder, like another gang member. And I specifically didn't elicit that because I didn't want to run afoul to this court's ruling with respect to identifying just gratuitous gang members. I think that is maybe the confusion here, but I think the exhibit speaks for itself. Diddy, the murder man, for sure that. So I guess that is what counsel is talking about. That is not our understanding of what Mr. Wilson was referring to. It's pretty clear from the exhibit, Your Honor. Your Honor, absolutely not. The issue, the government knows, and they confirmed with Hester this morning when they went over 164, but an individual murder was present in the video, and then Mr. Wilson refers to him. Your Honor, significantly, the government did not provide a transcript despite my request, which is standard, which they had done for every other audio exhibit that they had offered, but intentionally withheld it to create a misrepresentation with the jury. That is just not true, Your Honor. And again, the exhibit speaks for itself. Counsel is free to argue that he's referring to someone else. He literally looks down and says, they are saying Diddy is a murder man. For sure that. If counsel wants to cross-examine anyone on that, they can, aka Diddy. Well, Your Honor, we will be providing a transcript, unlike the government, and we will be addressing it with their witness. May I just say, Your Honor, the transcript issue, there is no effect to withhold a transcript. There's no recordings that we are going to be playing without a transcript just because of the nature of what is being said. Some of it can't really be credibly made out. And so we didn't want to potentially tilt the scales either way by putting forth a transcript for stuff that is something unclear. The court, all right, I accept the government's explanation here. And again, I don't think that there is any unduly prejudiced effort here on Mr. Wilson. Certainly, it doesn't need to be stricken. Certainly is not excludable under Rule 403, and therefore the video will stand. Anything else from the defense before tomorrow morning? And I'm sure I'll get an email late tonight the way I did last night, but I'm asking right now. I'm not preventing you from coming up with something between now and tomorrow morning. All right, Mr. Finless. No, Your Honor. The court. All right. Thank you. Anything from the government? And then I will have something to say to Mr. Mills. Anything from the government? No, Your Honor. The court, Mr. Mills, I received, as I said, your exhibit reminder. I gave curative instruction, not as lengthy as what you proposed, but later on I can go on to that in something close to it for 164. The reason I haven't done it for 201 is to just raise 201 now without any context, and to say you can't consider it, you can only consider it against Mr. Wilson, because that is the effect of saying it's not considered against Mr. Lindsay or Mr. Banks. It's just stricken. It just strikes me as unfair to Mr. Wilson. But if 201 comes up here, then again, I will do that. And if it doesn't, then currently at the end of the case, I'll make it clear to the jury that the understanding of Exhibit 201 is not to be used against Mr. Lindsay or Mr. Banks. I just wanted you to know that that is the reason I haven't mentioned 201 yet. That's no problem, Your Honor. 164 came up again. So I'll be looking for a natural point where it will be. The jury will get that information without unduly pointing a finger from me to Mr. Wilson. The other thing I want to remind the government of is the point that Mr. Mills made, which is that there are exhibits 122, 217, 218, and 220, which have not yet been shown to be co-conspirator statements. Looking forward to what the 3 cooperating witnesses are going to see. It strikes me that it will not be difficult for the government to do that, but the government still has to do it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it can't be done. So remember, before offering those 4 exhibits, you just have to get my permission and indicate to me why you believe that they have established a foundation, that they are co-conspirator statements. Yes, Your Honor. All right. Then counsel, special agent, gentlemen, I will see you in the morning. I apologize, Your Honor. Could I ask one clarifying question? Yes. In the event, and I understand the court's ruling on comments, but I just want to clarify, any event that the court finds that these or any of these exhibits are not applicable to Mr. Lindsay, there will be a limited instruction. Am I understanding that correctly? That's correct. But off the top of my head, I have to go back and look at my prior order on this. I have to look to see who uttered these to see if they are admissible again, but I don't remember off the top of my head who the default declarant was for those 4 exhibits. So I would need to, I'll go look at that tonight. So I'm in a position to say that would happen if they're not co-conspirator statements. Understood, Your Honor. I was only curious between 217 and 220 where the subject of pretrial motions were these exhibits admitted. Correct. Thank you. All right. But that is the thing. I haven't done that. I don't remember who, as I said, to the declarant. So I can't say here and say, oh, it would be admissible against Mr. Banks or Mr. Wilson or whoever. I just don't know at this point. That was quite a while ago on that. Or at least in terms that this case, it seems like quite a while ago. Understood. So that is the court transcripts from day 5 of the Durk Banks case. 5 counts. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've thoroughly enjoyed this breakdown. I have read this nonstop, so my mouth is dry. Please do me a favor and hit up my Cash App, $.007 as you see on the screen. And if you use this video, please, by all means, give proper credit and send me a Cash App too. Okay. Follow me on Twitch at The Not Point of View and all other platforms below: Twitch, TikTok, Instagram at The Not Point of View. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you later. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised.
What is in your life's blueprint?